I guess I'm back. I'm gonna give this one more try. If it does not work out, then I'll just cancel the show because I can't. There's no need for me to do it if my equipment is malfunctioning. So y'all let me know in the chat room if y'all can hear me. I'll go back in and delete that last feed. It seems like it just went left. I don't know what happened. I don't even want to continue. Whoever's watching, go in the chat room and let me know if you can hear me clearly. I don't want to be on here talking shit and it's like we didn't hear a word you said. Um, Let me know so I know whether to go back in and try to make some adjustments on my computer. I don't know what's going on. Everything's shut down. So Outlaw Radio is here. Okay, Mama Jenkins said she said we can hear now. All right, if Mama Jenkins said it, then I know it's real. It's real. So welcome back to Outlaw Radio, man. This is crazy, right? I don't know. People say they listening. I'm not paranoid like that. Not a conspiracy theorist. I know sometimes it goes off without a flaw. Sometimes some phantom reaction happens. So I am back on. I'm going to share the show right now. Let's see. This is what happens when you do a live show. It's not edited. When it goes out, it goes out. That's real. Let me see if I can bring Kamar back in. Kamar, can you hear me?
Yeah, it definitely sounds a lot better.
Yeah, if it's ever off, y'all got to let me know. I don't know because in my headphones it sounds clear. You know, I'm glad somebody. I was behind in the chat room. I'm glad I pay attention to my chat room, or I wouldn't have knew. I was just on here running my mouth. They said you sound like a chipmunk. It's Outlaw Radio Live. Y'all can come on back in, man. I'll go in and see what needs to be updated or what. I don't know. I switched internet providers, so I don't know what this. I don't know. Can't explain all the time why you have failures with this shit, but it does happen. Welcome back to Outlaw Radio Live. We were in the midst of discussing the whole Trump thing because I want to know right now from Black people how they feel. The number is 262-202-5131. I want to know how y'all feel. Ernest was with us earlier and he said that he wasn't scared, he wasn't nervous. And he was saying it was more of a disgust. It was more being disappointed and being upset with what's going on. And I agree with that because I don't know that I'm nervous or scared, but I rarely am nervous or scared. But the way Trump is going about doing the Project 2025 and you see some of the things he's doing, it does make you start to say, what the fuck is really going on here? It gets very weird. And like I say, I see this same kind of Brody outlandish behavior from white people in terms of their attitude and how they get much bolder. I was just talking about the trolls in the People's News Network. 13 years I've had this group. We've never really had to deal with trolls. All of a sudden we got trolls in there. We got especially this Lucky Leprechauno. Scott backed off because Scott wanted me to make him an admin and I wouldn't. So he was just like, basically, I'm not fucking with you no more, which is cool. Whatever. Mama Jenkins said, good evening. We got
just like a white motherfucker. It's just like them, right? They want to come take control of you. Just like motherfucker.
Well, we did a show called Mighty Whitey, and it's Mighty White of them.
Just like said, we got to come take control of your shit.
She said we got a police house in Garden Homes, so that means the hotspot is gone. Oh, interesting development over there in Garden Homes. DeVille Willis said, I'm back. And just like that, here's Scott. He said, LOL. So you read all 971 pages. I didn't. I wouldn't even lie. Scott, I spoke him up, right? Kamar, I spoke him up. He's I didn't read all 971. Did you? Scott, did you read all 900? Who read all 971 pages?
Hey, I don't think that it really even mattered if you read them all. So what if you read them? What can you do? If it, you know what I mean? Like, shit, when this shit happened, you got to figure out what to do then. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing we could do at that point.
Okay.
I didn't think he was going to win.
I thought he would win. I pretty much, yeah, I said it during. I said, "Nah, come on, I think this is a wrap for Kamala." I just watched the energy shift. Anthony said,
"I'm just saying, like all all the reasons why I didn't read it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Remember, I told you, I said it then. I said, I'm not finna worry about something until it happened. And then whatever you worrying about might not ever happen. You know what I mean? But like all the shit that's going on, like what's really affecting us?
Right. Well, we're going to talk about that.
You know?
I'm going to talk about that.
Shit.
We're going to talk about that. That's what this conversation is meant for, because I want to take a look at what's actually affecting us. And we'll look at the macro and the micro. Anthony said he wanted to be an admin because I kept suspending his ass. I think Scott and Lucky are the same, working on that theory. I don't. I think Lucky Leprechauno is Scott. What's his name? Joseph Walker. So I think it is. Scott said he's on page 316. Ernest said, "Fuck Scott and that punk ass leprechaun." Ooh. I don't know. I think because Scott will come on there and say some shit as Scott. Like, why would he need a fake? You know what I mean? Why would he need an avatar? He's in the chat room right now. Like, why would he? I believe that's Joseph Walker. I believe it's Joseph Walker. Jesse said round 2 Outlaws much better this time around. Thank you, sir. I mean, I aim to please when I can. If I see a problem, I'm usually gonna try to fix it, or I just won't do a show. Because like if this feed gives out, I see y'all Wednesday. That's what it's about. Welcome back to Outlaw Radio, though. Because I wanted to, we'll get to that, Kamara, because I want to have that conversation, but I need input from people. So if you're listening, the number's 262-202-5131. We do have a chat room. So if you're listening, I really would like for you to call and express your opinion. Go ahead, man. Okay, I thought you was about to say something. The first thing on my docket tonight is, and I've spoken on this before, and shout out to the brother who put up the post today about Mike Epps. We, once again, talked about this issue when it came out. I see so much disrespect for the city of Milwaukee on a national level, right? And I don't think anybody who lives in Milwaukee are under any illusions that we are someone that we're not. We know we're not Chicago. We know we're not Detroit. I'm actually kind of happy we're not Chicago or Detroit, because if I want to live in Chicago or Detroit, I'd move there. We know we're not Atlanta, Miami. We know it's the upper Midwest. It gets cold. We know it's small, but for me, it's home. And I've had some beautiful experiences here as a foundational Black American. I raised my children here. I was born and raised here. So I don't like the disrespect. And this is the Mike Epps thing. We talked about this, Kamar, because remember I said when he came out, I said Milwaukee is dusty and the quality of living is bad. You want to go to Whole Foods, you got to go to Chicago. I don't even know what the correlation between, living your quality of life in Whole Foods or your access to Whole Foods. I don't even know what that's about. But he said it's dusty and it's just horrible. But I remember back in the days, Mike Epps used to be here running through the hood with people. And, I've always liked Mike Epps as a comedian. I've always liked Mike Epps as a comedian. Well, this was a couple years back. He was on a podcast and they asked him what's the worst city he's ever visited.
I remember. I'm just saying he'd be in Milwaukee till today, these days now.
Well, this is what the post is about. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah. There's a brother from here. It's in the People's News Network where he's basically calling him out, saying he's about to come here for a concert. Fuck him. Don't spend your money. If this is how you feel about our city, why would we put money in his pocket? Which I totally agree with. And he said before anybody really goes to see him, he should apologize to the city. And I mean, but that's if you don't. Okay, this is, some people might see this as apples and oranges, but I feel like if you're gonna shit on the city that I'm from, I shouldn't patronize you. And some people might feel like I don't like Milwaukee that much, and I agree with them. It's dusty or whatever. I'm proud to be from Milwaukee. I've had a great time in Milwaukee. It's where you're from should always have a certain amount of something in your heart. That's where I'm from. It's where I came from. It's my neighborhood. You move on, you go different places, But you know, I just feel like when we should, and he's not the only one. I'm talking about some other people. This is a basketball player, Jeff Teague. They asked him about Milwaukee. He said it's absolutely nothing there. You can't even get nothing to eat after 10 o'clock. Anybody from here knows it's plenty places to get something to eat after 10 o'clock. Now, I get that they're, you know, these dudes are wealthy, young, wealthy individuals who, you know, they stand out in the crowd. He's 6'7", 6'8". And there are some places in this city that you can't go. And it wouldn't be wise for you to be there. It's just the reality of it. But I think that there's enough of us here who are about something where there is some places to go. I guess my bottom line is I just hate to see it over and over. I feel some kind of way when I see somebody basically shitting on the city, because I know it's some real ones here. I know it's some real people here. I got family.
I ain't take it serious.
I did. Okay.
Again, this one of them. Again, I feel like this one of them times where, you know, comedians, they be in interviews and they use every question to crack jokes, to make a joke. Like, you know what I mean? He big up Milwaukee all the time too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like look how he was just here. He just came here. He was fucking with Cuckoo Cal. He brought him down there to his town to open up for him and everything. I mean, I didn't take that like he was being vicious towards Milwaukee or hating even. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like he was being a comedian. Like usually I dig this, and usually when you go to shows with comedians that ain't from there, they usually crack jokes about the city too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like I don't knock nobody for feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody more than got the right, you know what I mean, to feel disrespected. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I just didn't take it serious. I felt like he was a comedian being a comedian. Right.
Once again, and it wasn't even just the point with him was if you're going to come here and do a show, this is me saying there's no way I pay for a ticket knowing that's how you speak on where I'm from. And comedian or not, once again, we get to this point where, okay, that's a joke. Ha ha ha. It's not funny to me. It's not funny. Now, I also added that there's an additional narrative of NBA players, celebrities, all kinds of people who shit on the city. Ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing.
I don't know about them. I'm just talking about the comedian aspect.
I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about all of them.
Everybody got more than the right to feel like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't knocking it or nothing. I'm just saying I didn't feel like it was nothing.
Right. Serious. You didn't. So once again, anybody else out there, let us know how you feel about it. When I hear Kyle Kuzma, not Kyle Kuzma, but Bobby Portis, when I hear all these other, I seen some dudes that was on that. It was Carmelo Anthony and some other NBA players, and they was shitting on the city. And Carmelo's like, nah, that's not. I fuck with Milwaukee. Like, no, man, there's some shit up there, some nice shit up there, especially in the summer. But once again, I just don't like the narrative of. That's why I said I seen MC8 talking shit about Milwaukee. Like, I'm like, hold on, where the fuck? Where this come from? But that's me. That's me. I don't do disrespect on no level, so I don't like nobody. That's not even funny if that's your joke. You know what I'm saying? So some people might like that. Scott said, actually, Milwaukee gun violence per capita is higher here than in Chicago. What the fuck that got to do with it?
See, that's why you can't come to the barbecue. You know what I mean?
Look, I wasn't looking for credit as to say, hey, we got crime too. That's not what I was talking about. When I said we're not Chicago is because if you go to the city of Chicago, it's so much stuff there.
Yeah, there's so much more to do.
Yes, it's their social scene there. It's a more vibrant downtown. Like you have to, what they call it, the Miracle Mile, like all this.
Right.
I love the vibe of Chicago. I just wouldn't want to live there.
Hey, tell Scott to quit projecting his trauma on us.
Said, don't forget about Oak Creek, motherfucker.
What the hell, man?
In the chat room. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show, Rock. Ernest said, Ernest said, didn't he perform after that? Plus, he is a comedian. He did. That's what I'm saying. If you watch the post, and this is all about a post that a brother put up. So for anybody, I hate when people come in, and I'm not saying this is you, Ernest, but I hate when people come into a conversation and they don't either hear everything I said or they don't know the context in which I'm speaking. This is a response to the brother who came out and talked about, hey man, we shouldn't go to a show. Now, I think this video might not be new, right? So I don't know when Mike Epps is on tour. I don't know if he came then or whatever, but I'm just talking about it because it was something that came across my radar. Yeah. And I said
that was that same old clip though.
But he made a point, and I said that then though. Yeah. I said that then. I said,
no. Hey, look now. If it hadn't been a comedian, you know what I mean, from a dustier city than Milwaukee, like the niggas from Gary, Indiana. You know,
he's from Indianapolis.
Like, it really ain't shit. It really ain't shit there. You know what I'm saying?
He's from Indianapolis.
Yeah, he's from Indianapolis. It ain't shit there either. You know?
Oh, Indianapolis is Kamar. Hold on.
And like I'm saying, like I said though, you know what I mean. If it had been somebody that wasn't a comedian, I probably would have looked at it different.
Indy pops though. Can't say it ain't shit in Indy. Indy pops.
Milwaukee pops.
Right, but I'm saying they got more. They have, like we just talked about Chicago. They have more attractions. And I've even heard people talk about the level of black business and like black entrepreneurship in Indianapolis is stronger than it is here. Like it just is. Like, and that's cool. That's fine. That's not where he's from. He's from the dusty part of it, though. He's from the raggedy part of it, though. So I don't know.
That's the point I'm making. You know what I mean? Like that, it didn't affect that he's a comedian. Now, I ain't going back and forth with y'all about it or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, it's just the comedian aspect part of me. Like, if Martin Lawrence had said it, I wouldn't have took it serious. Now, if a motherfucker like who ain't no comedian, think of somebody, and anybody who ain't no comedian, they came across an interview and was like, that old dusty ass city, man, I'd have took offense to it. Cause like, nigga, you don't crack jokes.
I don't like the fact that people can say some dumb shit and say, well, I'm a comedian though. I feel like that's a crutch. I feel like that's an excuse for you to be disrespectful and for you to be really, kind of productive. So I never give anybody, well, he's a comedian though. Like, okay, well,
hey. It is really, it is an excuse to be disrespectful. Because like you could crack jokes, and there's people that's gonna not like your jokes. Like you crack LGBTQ jokes, they gonna feel disrespected.
Well, like they say, the same thing that will make you laugh will make you cry. So just be careful. Watch your mouth. Jeff Crape said, "What up, fam? How you doing, Jeff?" Down there in Texas, man, represent. See, my brother from Milwaukee, move somewhere else. No harm, no foul. Better greener pastures, but he don't turn around and shit on us. DeVille says somebody laughed when he made the comment. Scott says, why do you guys keep hating on black performers? Scott, are you drinking tonight?
Big head motherfucker. Thought my head was big.
He said
That's all he get from us, that type shit. That's all he get from us. Like, we don't even answer his questions no more.
Well, no, because he said, well, I don't think this is hating on a black performer. This is something he said in regards to our city, which raised some eyebrows for people who say, okay, you schedule shows here. You schedule shows here all the time, and people here love you. People here go to your shows. I've been to a Mike Epps show. You know what I'm saying? So for you to turn around and not even put a side note in and say, there's some good people there, but the city, I just don't like the city. It's just like you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Joey Phillips, my big homie, my big brother, he said, what up, Outlaw Radio, peace and love. I totally agree with the witch doctor on that. It was just a joke, but you must admit some spots in the city look bad. No bullshit. Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to sell, some high value land on 3rd and Buffum in a back alley somewhere. Shout out to Buffum. I always throw streets under the bridge. It's just like one of them things, JoJo, where like I can talk about my brother, but somebody else can't. Right? Like I can rib on my brother, but I'm not gonna allow you to do it. You know what I'm saying? I guess I just I look at it that way. And I just believe in respect. I can't stand disrespect. DeVille Willis said, I do stand up. I almost never say anything that's going to get me ran up on. Q love you on the stage. Oh, you did say you do comedy. I forgot about that. He said, I've been to a Mike Epps show as well. I mean, I feel like we live in this society, like, because like even Andrew Schultz, y'all remember Andrew Schultz, the white comedian who came on talking about he would have sex with Kendrick Lamar, and he was talking about black women being the most horrible creatures. And everybody was like, oh, that's out of order. But he's been on so many black platforms since then. He actually has a Netflix special coming. And people's excuse was, well, he is a comedian. But when is rape funny? When is anally raping another man in prison? When did jokes about that get to be funny? Like, oh, it's so funny. He took his booty, huh? What the fuck? But I'm a comedian, though. Well, I'm not. Smack the shit out of you.
But.
What's going on, Dion? How you doing tonight, man?
Man, what's happening, fellas? Man, you know, I mentioned success to people's network, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Trump fucking around and do that. He might got me, man. He was talking about letting fellas have firearms.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was saying, what? When I said that, the guy snapped. She was like, see, that's that bitch. But you know what, though? I feel like nonviolent stuff. Somebody should have been saying that. You know, maybe he's just doing it because he a felon and he got a lot of felons to hang around him. But nonviolent felons, motherfuckers that are dead. You know, you shouldn't have to petition a fucking governor because Skippy Walker won't give it nobody's pardons. You know what I'm saying? That whole ass, what's his name? And I ain't gonna even call him whole ass. Tony Evans, he giving people pardons. I still ain't sent my pardon application in. You know what I'm saying? Because you did a recommendation letter for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, you got to go through that, and then you got to go in front of people and kiss their ass and tell them, like, listen, man, I'm down there 50 years old, 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out. Listen, I don't have to be I don't have to get a pardon to commit a crime if that's what I wanted to do over all these motherfucking years. You think just because y'all give me a pardon, I'm gonna be like, oh, now I got a pardon. There's niggas out here they got the F on their car every day. They got big guns. You understand what I'm saying? So when I seen that shit, I'm like, okay, you know, it'd be little shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, we talking about couldn't snap benefits to fuck with people's Social Security, but he gonna let let fellas have a good. Yeah, that's weird. That's a hard one right there, Kim. I don't know, man.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest. When we have conversations about gun ownership, first of all, felons and criminals don't care about the fact that they're not supposed to have a gun.
Yeah,
they get them
anyways,
and they don't look to get permits. They don't deal with background checks. So a lot of the times we get to having this conversation about gun laws and making them stricter and saying, well, then you're just punishing the people who actually can legally own them. Now you're just making it tough on somebody who ain't, you know what I mean, on that with the gun. So I think for me, the regulation with anything pertaining to firearms.
Did he say what type of felony?
It should start with the gun manufacturers. I feel like we always regulating people instead of regulating the motherfuckers who actually make this shit. So I don't think
the gun manufacturer should be held responsible. Like that's crazy.
I said regulated. I said what you mean that? Well, not held. You make something that can murder people in the multitudes. There shouldn't be no accountability and responsibility on your part.
Excuse me, hold on. A car can run 1,000 motherfuckers over. You see, what was his name? Daryl Brooks killed all them people.
The car manufacturers are highly regulated too. Look at all the safety standards and all the shit that they got to go through just to get the product out the factory. And you track who owns a car. Like you ain't finna let no 13-year-old come in the store and just buy a car and drive off the lot. I'm saying there's a process to doing it. But once again, people who do foul shit with cars make it harder on the people who don't. You know what I'm saying? Like even that's relevant too. If you want to use that example.
No, I was just using that example. Wait, hold on. Let me put this in this air fryer. I don't want the beeping. As you know, that microphone you got is real sensitive. Hold on, I'm about to mute you.
Right. It ain't. It's the headphones. It ain't the microphone. Come on. It said.
But yeah, he didn't say. Oh, wait, hold on, Cam. My fault.
It said non-violent. Kamar, non-violent felons.
They was even talking because the article he was just saying.
Hold on, because look, Cause see, that set the way for people like me. You know what I'm saying? Like that helped people like me out protect my family. I mean, so that could be a good thing too.
You a violent? Yeah,
a non-violent felon.
Yeah, but they was talking about this fella's particular.
Okay.
And then, you know, they was talking about people that did their time and paid, you know, ain't on paper, ain't on parole, and paid their debt to society. Like, you should be able to regain your Second Amendment rights. And I feel like that, though. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that a long time ago when, you know what I'm saying? Because you convict somebody for some shit y'all bring into the United States. I felt like the United States should be brought up on charges for even bringing cocaine in the United States. The United States government should be brought up on charges for even allowing cocaine to be funneled into the United States, and then criminalized it and made it severe penalties over that shit, and then you lose everything. You know what I'm saying? Not only your gun rights and shit, you fuck around and catch a case while you receiving, while you living in public housing, you'll lose that for life. What else? If you would get federal student aid, you'll lose that for life. So it was a lot of restrictions that came along if you fuck around and call a drug case and you receiving any type of government subsidies such as that, those ones I named. It was some other ones, but I can't think of them off top. But that was just a little food for thought, though. You know, that's all. I don't want to change the subject.
No, that's all in the game, because I asked the question was, and the conversation was really pertaining to how you feel about what's happening in terms of what Trump and his regime are doing. We just kind of sidebar because I was talking about the post that I felt on with Mike Epps, and it was about him dissing the city, but it wasn't just Mike Epps. I've heard a bunch of national figure people like really shit on the city, and I'm just like, when I hear that, I'd be like, that's not funny, whether you think it's a comedian or not. And that was what Kamar said. He felt like he didn't take it serious because he was that he's a comedian. I think Ewok kind of echoed.
Yeah, he been said that though. Mike Evans, that wasn't nothing new. He said that about. Didn't we talk about that like 6-7 months ago?
We did. And the post, yes, and the post came. It recirculated today, and I don't know if Mike Epps was, scheduled to be here. So that's why I came back around, because I don't know his tour schedule. But I felt like even if this is 8 months ago and he's coming back again, I think this should still be brought to him, because I feel like you can make a joke about the city and still say, but you know what? It's a lot of real people. I fuck with a lot of people in Milwaukee. I had some times up there. Yeah, the city's fucked up, but there's some cool motherfuckers there. I feel like you can still add that without just saying, oh, it's bullshit. So that's why I ask people how they feel. He says, what the fuck am I talking about? There's an entire federal act regulating firearms in this country. It's called a federal firearms. Yeah, but it's not working. Is it working, dumbass? Is it working?
Who said that?
That's Scott in the chat. Is it work? No, it's not enough, because guns still fall into the hands of people who shouldn't have them. And when I say regulate the industry, I mean the inventory. The inventory. How is all this loose artillery just floating around? And nobody, the kids 13, 14 years old in Chicago riding around with military grade weaponry.
Ooh. Kids here. Got that shit.
Kids here, kids in Detroit, kids in LA. We talking about 16, 17 years old with an AK-47 with a drum or a Glock which they've learned how to modify and make it fully automatic. So
remember back in the late 90s and late 80s and early 90s, everybody was having them Uzis. Yeah. The government was bringing them Uzis.
That's what I'm saying. That's what this dude talking about. Yes, it's working. Get the fuck out of here. How's it working? You dumbass. Scott, you're a fucking idiot. Stop playing. Don't be stupid. You can't. We have a gun violence issue in our country. What are you talking about? And is there somebody out there denying that firearms are falling mysteriously into the hands of people who should not have them? You muted, Kamar. You muted, Kamar. You're muted.
Especially with all the serial killers and shit, them white serial killers, the motherfuckers out there in Vegas that just killing 100 motherfuckers and shit. All them white boys, yeah, we do need tougher gun laws.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the white crimes. Let's talk about the white crimes, dumbass. Come on here and talk about about your people. Tell us what your people doing. Tell us about your people, because you can't tell us shit about us.
But he's saying it's working. I don't understand how you would say that the gun laws as they exist right now in this country are working. There's a surplus. Listen, there's a surplus of guns that somehow get past any and every regulation. As a matter of fact, if you go to these gun shows with private dealers, you don't even have to go through the same bullshit and rigmarole you got to go through if you go to a store.
Hey, hold on once. I just watched a video about about Big U talking about, or somebody was talking about how Big U got dumped off. Like, and we was just talking, it was going on in Chicago too. Dumping crates of the government, dumping crates of guns off and shit in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how the fuck is the gun laws working and they putting guns in the hood?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. It's just like, okay.
Young ass.
Well, you know, and
that's why I said, man, I'm talking about us. Talk about your people. Look up your people, motherfucker.
For a white person, though, they may be naive to the fact of, or maybe they know and just don't want to admit. You know, Cube say, don't know, don't show, don't care what's going on in the hood. I can look at my neighborhood over the past, I mean, not my neighborhood, but my community. Over the past month or so, what have we had in Milwaukee? 23 shootings, right? And in this small ass little town, the flow of firearms is so great and it can't be stopped, but there's no need for any kind of regulation on that. I mean, come on, man. You're not being realistic. I wanted to go back to what my original kind of point of people who disrespect the city should be taken to task for it, because that's what other people do. Disrespect Detroit and go over there fucking with Trick. See what happened to your ass when you get out the car. You'll be getting right back in the motherfucking car. Who we got on the line? Is this Scott? Come on, man.
Yes, it is. My God, you guys have no fucking clue what you guys are talking about when it comes to gun laws.
We wasn't talking about gun laws.
You're talking. What are you talking about? Talking about gun laws? Evan started out the segment stating that the gun laws in this country, the criminals in this country, don't care about gun laws.
Right. And I also extended that statement by saying, if there's any regulation that should be done, it shouldn't be placed on the backs of myself and other people who are legal gun owners. They should be regulating.
Exactly.
There should be more regulation of manufacturers. That's what I said. It wasn't. We didn't get it. We didn't. I didn't say there weren't. I didn't say they weren't. I didn't say that there weren't.
Oh my God!
Listen to what the fuck I said before you try to call in and chastise me.
You need to learn how to have a conversation, Scott.
There's a problem in our community with gun violence, and there's the manufacturing of guns and the surplus of guns and the availability of guns. If you're going to regulate that, you have or put any kind of dent in that, you got to deal with the manufacturers.
And you know where that, and you know how to solve that. You know how to solve that, Kevin.
I know that the manufacturers need to be regulated. That's what I know.
You want to talk about conservatives and liberals? Liberals took away broken windows. They took away stop and frisk.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about liberal. I don't care about conservative. What I'm talking about is an issue that's relevant to our country.
To the forefront.
We're not going to do partisan.
You just brought a gun violence.
We're not going to do partisan politics. And I'm not even changing it into that. Dion, I think I hung up on you too. You can call me back. I'm sorry, Dion. My bad. Because I'm not going to change the conversation into one about partisan politics. I said what I said when I said that there is an issue in our community with gun violence. You're not getting anywhere by regulating the people, especially the legal owners of guns, because they abide by the laws anyways. It is the criminals and the availability that guns as well as ammunition, there's a surplus. Is nobody else regulating that surplus? That's why I said there needs to be more regulation. Make it hard on them. That's what you do on everybody else. Make it harder on them. If they gonna make the money. Dion, you back with us?
Yeah. Y'all got the. I was like, damn.
Yeah, just come on, man. Stop it. I'm talking about something that's germane to our people. I don't give a fuck about his understanding what he thinks about.
Y'all, that's that retard coming on here.
Liberals took away or I don't care about that shit. I'm talking about the problem of gun violence in my community. In a city
Yeah,
where,
he got to talk about stop and frisk and shit.
right?
Like that affects people that look like you and I. We don't see them in Oak Creek and St. Francis doing stop and frisk. You know what I'm saying? So what does he say? Only black people just running around here with these high-powered rifles and shit. You know what I'm saying? With Cheney going to school, killing his whole community in the school and killing his mom and dad and his grandmom and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like white people be having a limited view. I swear to God, man. Like that shit just be irritating me. Like
it's always the assumption that we don't know what we're talking about, right? Because nobody got into any specific gun laws. And I even said, if we're going to pass more restrictive gun laws, it's going to affect legal gun owners, responsible. There's a lot of responsible legal gun owners. The criminal part of it is what fucks it up. So, you know, don't call in here with that attitude, man. Like, one thing you can't tell me about is what's going on in my community. We got another caller on the line. Who this?
How you doing, my brother?
What really sucks? Hey, Craig, what really sucks is when somebody call in with an attitude already.
Can y'all hear me?
Hold on, Dion. I got you.
Yes, sir.
Like,
what was you saying, Kamar?
You know, I said it really sucks when people call in with an attitude already. You know what I mean? Like, you calling in to argue and shit. Like, no, why you can't have a conversation?
It's not a great debate. It's a conversation.
Why you can't just have a conversation, man? Why you got to come in with all the fuck bombs and all that shit?
Well, because, you know, you feel like if you talk loud.
Well, misery love company, brother. That's why I tell them misery love company.
Now this is Dion, another Dion, my other partner Dion, who I've known from way back. My brother. First of all,
I'm family orientated. Goddamn it.
Yeah. So, no, you good with the cuss words? It's all good. We ain't tripping. Welcome to the show, man. What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
I just, you know, man. Listen, man. I've been 10 toes down this game for real, man. You know, on the battlefield. You know, and it's not the guns that's corrupting us, man. It's not the guns that's even, you know. I hope these little young brothers listening, man. The worst fear thing in the world is black folk coming together. You understand that? That's the worst fear in the world for anybody. And hip hop and gangsterism and pimpism took over this world. You know what I mean? I call it sin is trying to win for real.
Okay.
You know, and without, you know, it's really about knowledge and education. You know, I know some brothers right now doing a nonprofit organization where these brothers scared of applications, so they'd rather be a thug to get a job. When I show them how to, it's so easy for them. So we pop that shit, talk that shit, but what is it really doing for these young black brothers? Who we corrupted, fucking up, you understand? We were selling drugs like on the battlefield doing wrong. What are we really doing for these brothers to show them a better way? And besides talking and popping and shit, man, we got to get out here and, man, you know, the highways and byways for real and help these brothers because they are our future. They are the future.
Well, I can tell you this, as a person who's worked 23 years in youth development and education and social services and nonprofit and workforce development, there are a lot of programs and opportunities for a lot of our young brothers to take advantage of. But they make, let's be honest, just like you, I like how you referred to mistakes that we made when we were in the field, right?
Exactly.
But you know what we were doing? We were making conscious decisions. We were because we came from a family in which you knew right from wrong.
Now wait. Now let me cut you off. Now wait, let me say. Now I knew where you come from. You came from a home with a father and a mother, right?
Exactly.
Let me say something. I never knew my daddy at all, partner.
Okay.
You did? And my mama threw out at 14, partner. I was on the battlefield for real, man. So each his own. Everybody's different.
Well, I know you. I know you. I know you had people around you who attempted to.
Right. So. Thank God for you, your brother. I said y'all base it a couple times. You know what I mean? When my people went there, remember that, brother?
How can I forget?
Hey, come on, family. Come on. I almost had the white girl. Come on, listen, man. But I'm saying, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling y'all. I'm telling you. Look, listen. Hey, listen, man. Listen, I watch your show. I love your show, man. Listen, I'm telling you, man. Your stage and platform is bigger than what you know, man. You know what I'm saying? You're doing what you're comfortable with, but come out the box and do what God wants you to do. You know what I'm saying? For real. Because the people listen to what you're saying, look, and you're God too, man. Y'all promote you for real, man. I'm telling you something. There's so much more y'all can do. And I'm on the outside looking in because I ain't even walking no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I heard walking stuff for real. I heard it's bad up there. You know what I'm saying?
But let me say, what you're saying for me, and I know Kamar is probably the same way, but I done worked with young people too the nth degree. So I've worked with teenage adjudicated felons. I've taught public school, special ed. I've done mentoring. I coached peewee, high school varsity. I've done mentoring. I've given to young black males in this city. I've worked with them. As a matter of fact, you can go anywhere with me in this city now. You'll run across adults.
I know solidified. You solidified. I know that. I know that. I know
They'll say, Mr. Barnes or KB. Yeah, you was my guy. You was my case manager.
I'm saying this. Mr. Barnes. How about this, man? How about you just go do a non-profit organization, man, and have these folks pay you some help you out because you're helping us get your few vans and come get 12 in the morning and take us down to the motherfucking to the tip service. I take us down to the Social Security building. Take us down to the post office. Take us because we know we didn't know, man. I remember daddy's on drugs, doing cocaine and crack and heroin and shit. We fucked up raising ourselves because you know what I'm saying. We don't know better. We don't know no better. So we don't know what we was raised as. We know what the next motherfucker going through. And I'm telling you, on the battlefield, I meet niggas, man, and I've been to prison 2-3 times. And literacy is a big problem for us black brothers.
Literacy.
It's a big problem. Literacy, bro. Yes, man. Literacy is a big problem, literally. You know what I mean?
Been addressed many times on here. Yes, we talk about that all the time.
Telling you. Yeah, and that's just so I'm not gonna. I'm telling you, I don't think lots of brothers. You know what I'm saying? To the I ain't got no ID. Well, then we go to the DMV. I'm gonna pay for it, brother. You did? I mean, I ain't got no. I can't. Remember, I'm gonna go with you. You want to do this thing? Because once the dudes don't help and show this thing, they producing, they progressing. And I'm gonna tell you this. Your platform is big, and we gotta help these brothers, man. Because everybody have a motherfucking mama and daddy. Everybody have a silver spoon in their mouth. You understand me? I'm just keeping 100, man.
Well,
everybody don't know. Everybody don't know what we know, what you know, what I know.
That goes.
Some of us are really chucked up.
That goes without saying that there are some people who don't have access to this. But the reality is, and this is why I said young men are making choices, because I've worked with so many young men where we caught them at a young age and stepped in. I meet this dude when he's a freshman in high school. He's 13. Get to know him. Get to know what he's been through. Develop a rapport with him and understanding that he didn't have a father or whatever, and pour into him. Now, usually it went one of two ways. Either he heeded what we gave him and he became successful, or he said, I'm not really trying to feel that. And everything comes full circle because I've lived long enough to have some of those young men come back up to me and say, man, I just got out. I wish I had to listen to what y'all was saying. Y'all offered me options, and I made the wrong decisions, which is cool, which leads us, this is great for transitional purposes, because it leads us to what Kamar was talking about and what Dion was referencing in felons getting their firearm, the right to have a firearm back. Because what happens when you get out of jail?
I would say certain felons, not all felons.
Well, non-violent.
Yeah.
But I think the whole system.
I'm fighting for that too. I'm fighting for that right now on that box. I ain't never had a problem fighting. I can get a pistol to protect my family. That's bullshit to me. I'm living that shit.
The whole system is way too punitive after you've done your time. There's a reason why you go do your time, because you pay your debt to society. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to continuously get punished for the rest of your life. So
let me. You're smarter than me, cuz. Let me ask you a question. Then let me ask you a question. So what the fuck? I mean, I'm pretty fluent in a lot of things. But let me ask you something. The constitutional law. They said you have the right to bear a firearm, correct?
There's something that states that in the Constitution.
Who the fuck has the right to change that shit? Who changed that shit? Let me know when and who did it. No. Who the fuck changed that shit, man? I like that shit.
I don't know. I don't know his name. I don't know who said. Hold on, wait a minute. I think after you realize. Well, one thing we got to understand too with the Constitution, that it was an article written by old white men, and it was 14 colonies. And so a lot of shit changed.
Yeah, but they gave that law. They'll take it back. Motherfucker, come on. That shit made sense. You got the right to protect your family with a pistol. Now they talk about as a person coming to your house, you got to do this discretion to put them out before you call the police. Ain't that a bitch? I can get a gun now and I can put the motherfucker out my crib? What the fuck going on in this world?
Hey, there's things that need to be adjusting and need to be fixed. And nothing's perfect. So, I mean, that's why the ability for the people to speak out and say, hey, this is what we desire from our government is valuable.
Practice. Do some more. You say ain't perfect, but practice makes perfect. They say like Jesus. If you practice like Jesus, you'll be a Christian motherfucker. If you practice being a Muslim, you'll be a Muslim motherfucker. Let's practice being together, goddammit. Let's practice loving one another. Man, I'm so sick of black motherfuckers shooting motherfuckers. It's ridiculous.
I'm so sick of niggas fighting niggas, man. I don't even go out no more. I'm so sick of this dumbass ass shit that go on, man. I'm serious, Black. So I'm serious, Black. So this shit, and they winning, man. They didn't want it. Well, we did the KKK no more. The niggas do the black folks do it for.
Dion, let me chop my check my chat room. I got people in the chat room.
I love you, cuz. I love you, boy. We talk to you.
For sure, man. Holla at me, man. Holla at me. Yes. Family right there. Shout out to Dion. The other Dion. Do we got other Dion? Which Dion we got on the line still? He said, right, Kamar, get him. This is Jesse. I'm catching up, y'all. Albert Bell, how you doing? He said he's on deck. Hey, y'all, share the show. Jesse said, OMG, this dude, he's talking about Scott. He said he was trying to overtalk you, disrespectful. You probably would have let him speak, but he had to honky tonk up the shit. Yeah, I don't listen, man. We're gonna have a conversation. I'm a grown, I am a grown man, bro. And he's texting me like, oh, cut me off, coward. Coward, really? I don't think you even put me and coward in the same sentence. So that don't bother me. But you to call into the show on some rah-rah shit, I'm hanging up on you. That applies to anybody though, not just him, but especially to him tonight. He said, how many legal motherfuckers grab the heat, mistakenly holding the trigger, and bam. Yeah, well, that's how you become an illegal motherfucker. If you do that, you're an irresponsible gun owner, though. Because the first this is a shout out to Prolific Firearms and Eagle Eye Security and all these brothers I know who are like really firearm trainers. The first thing you should do when you get a firearm is learn to understand how it works. Meaning you should understand the mechanisms of it, right? You should understand that if you have a semi-automatic pistol and you cock it back and there's anything in the magazine, it's going into the chamber and it's hot, right? You should also understand when you point a firearm at somebody, your finger should not necessarily on the trigger. There's a technique to it. You should also learn how to take it apart and clean it. But a lot of people just have a gun and they think, oh, I got a gun. No. I mean, if you ain't, like, people go get the biggest firearm they could possibly find. Mistake. Are you ready for the recoil? Are you ready for the noise? Are you ready for, can you aim and hit what you're actually shooting at? You know, it's good to have a big ass, dirty, hairy pistol. But if you don't know how to use it, it's going to do you no good. You'd be better off throwing it at somebody. Al said, how do we come together when we are all taught, watch the niggas next door from day one? He said, explain. You know, the explanation for that is I don't think anybody's came up with a solution, Albert. You're right in that we do have an issue with solidarity, no doubt. A lot of us talk about this. It's a phantom concept because I heard somebody talking about the village, to raise the kids raised in the village. Well, that village ain't so villagey right now. I can't necessarily trust the individual next door in that regard, such as my mom and dad did, because a lot of times they had come from the South from the same place. The family knew the family, this kind of thing. You don't have that kind of relationship in a community. Our communities are not communities in that regard anymore. It's just an assembled group of people. We knew everybody on our block, and it was Mr. and Mrs. and that's Lil Joe and big like Joey Phillips, who's on here now. I said on the show, I don't even remember how I met Joey. We just knew each other. Just growing up, I knew his grandmother, I knew his mother, I knew his aunties, I knew his cousins, and vice versa for me. Now, you don't know who the fuck lived 2 houses down from you. You be like, shit, I don't know who the fuck lived there. I don't fuck with these motherfuckers over here. Juice Lady, better late than never. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
Y'all know I'm in school. Don't be acting like that, Kev. I'm doing all right. And then my mama called when I logged on the first time. You can't miss those calls, so I had to answer. You know,
Mama don't care if you got a show. Mama
she don't care. She want to see what's going on, what you doing. You want to gossip about things. So, yeah.
You heard about May Lee getting a foot cut off?
Right. All of that.
She actually said, good evening. Foot cut off here? Nobody. That's just how my mom used to just hit me out of random with some gossip. Like, yeah, they say that boy over there that went to jail. You'd be like, Mama, I was gonna walk out the house. Well, shit, you ain't got time to talk to me? Like, Mom would be like, no, motherfucker, I called you to listen. Sit your ass down.
I love you like the TK, keep it real with
Keep it real. You like some tea?
Do I like who?
The tea.
The tea.
Right.
Gossip, man. Gossip.
Oh, well, no. I'm sorry. Because I'm not used to men saying tea.
Right,
like,
so,
I don't do
don't do that, Kev.
No, I'm just saying, brothers don't usually be like, hey, Kev, what's the tea? Like, I'll be like, what do I got to do? You want a brisk? Like, you. What is the tea? What the fuck is he talking about? No, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, my mom, you had to listen. It didn't matter. Because if you said, well, mom, I was just finna walk out, she gonna be like, I didn't ask you that. You sit your ass down and see what I called you for. And then that's how it was. Now you come over here and you get this money, go give me a carton of cigarettes. I was finna go, mama. She didn't give a shit. I had to go get them cigarettes and Doral menthols.
Doral, your mom smoked Dorals?
After she got off Marlboros until she finally quit. Yeah, my mom was a real smoker.
Did you ever hit one?
Of course I did. The Marlboros, yeah. When I was little, we used to snatch them. My father smoked Cool. We used to get the Cool because it was menthol. It was real, like mint. We used to be in the backyard with one of his cigarettes. What y'all out there doing? Nothing. Tiarsha said, good evening to everybody. Al said, I meant when we are all taught to attack each other day one from our own people. And he's saying, explain. Were you taught that? I don't know that I was taught to attack people. I think I was taught to retaliate when I was attacked. And I think that was the narrative growing up in our neighborhood, because it wasn't a neighborhood full of bullies. Like, we wasn't just outside beating each other up. We play fighting, but it became, well, when somebody come at you, then you got to get down. I think it was more retaliatory. Now I feel like these kids are more on the attack. I think they get that training now. And let's be honest, the science of brotherhood and sisterhood is a little lost on a lot of them.
Even in my younger
I agree with
you. And I wasn't raised up north. I was raised in El Paso, Texas, where it wasn't a whole bunch of black people. But the black females that I did come in contact with, they wanted to fight. And I didn't know anything about fighting really until I came up here. And everybody wanted to fight. But I know all of my life it's only been black motherfuckers wanting to fight, and not because I was being aggressive towards them. Just like niggas just want to fight. No matter what they hate, no matter. Yeah.
You don't look like you lost no fight neither, Courtney. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? But hey.
I find that people are people though, because when I went away from the community, white dudes did want to fight me. They wanted, especially when they get drunk. I mean, they just, let me tell you something, bro. I fucking like black people, but I mean, some of you guys are niggers though. It's just like, ass whooping time. I gave out a lot of L's in North Dakota. I'm trying to tell you. There's white boys now who will be like, fucking guy on the football team fucking punched me in my. It was no hesitation for me back then. I just wasn't dealing with it. Like, what the fuck you just say? I mean, I'm just saying, bro. Pow! Bong, bong. Put him to sleep. Man, we had a million fights. Bar fights. I'm talking about, listen. When my brother Dion comes on, damn, how many Dions do I know? My brother Dion, who he went to science with me in North Dakota, he'll tell you. Football team roll in, music get to playing, liquor get to flowing, we get to fired up, and white boy, dude, fucking nigger ass whooping. We turning this party out. Party over. Yeah. I had to learn later on, you will never win that battle. You're never going to win that battle. You can't fight them all like that. But back then, yes. Fresh off the north side, oh, yeah. You're going to remember me in the morning.
That's right. Higher learning.
Oh, man, we used to get down. Anytime I talk to one of my college homeboys from up there, they'll say, "Dog, remember that time?" Yes, I remember. Can't remember you? Yes, I remember. I did it. Yes, I did. He said root problems are day one teachings from our own. I happen to believe poverty, once again, has a lot to do with that. I believe when you are poor, you're somewhat desperate. Because think about the fact, when you're poor, you're constantly scrounging for resources.
That makes you want to fight?
Figure out. Well, it creates this kind of natural aggression. Poor people, they trying to survive.
When you gonna credit post-traumatic slave syndrome to some of the issues? When is you gonna say that? When? That's all I want to hear though. maybe we have to. Maybe we need to. I need to read. Maybe I need to try to email some of the scientists and people that be talking about it and see if they can just come on and just give us a short presentation and just let you know. You know what I'm saying? Because there's something in our DNA. You know, I mean, I agree with you on the resources when we're limited resources, housing, all type of things. You know what I'm saying? That does make people perpetuate certain, you know, behaviors that they normally wouldn't. But I believe, and I truly, really believe that shit is embedded in us as far as in our DNA.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So hold on to that. Hold on to that for me a second.
Yeah,
hold
them
on to
ass
that.
whoopings came from slavery. Remember that? Because we was getting our ass whooped by the master. And, you know, we whooping the ass of kids all the time, and now they just out here whooping ass at school. Where to start, Kevin?
Yeah. Ass whoopings are a very kind of slave tactic. Well, how do you teach a nigga something? You whoop his ass. That's what you do. Shabaka said, greetings from the Wild Wild West. How you doing, Shabaka? He said, rest in peace to George Foreman. Absolutely. Prayers for George Foreman's family. Left a lot of money for him to argue over. Albert said, crackatize makes perfect.
I think that says practice. Oh my gosh. It doesn't say practice?
Did I say crack? It's practice. My bad. Okay.
Crackatize.
You can't come to the show late and then criticize me reading the comments.
Crackatize.
My fault. Crack. Well, it's not like practice is a real word. They both fake words. So well, he said practice, Kevin. Come on. Get right. Come on. Read the comments correctly.
Get it right, Kev.
She's in school now, right? So now she's that's not how you say that word. I go to UWM. Trust me. That's not how you say it.
Yeah.
Education about to be shut down.
Hold on, Dion. Hold on, Dion. I want to get back to what you said. I just want to catch the chat room because there's people in there. Shabaka said white people want to disarm black people for fear and retribution.
Yeah.
Al said, hello, fool. I don't know who he talking to. Maybe me. Tiarsha said the Milwaukee Urban League works with at-risk high school students. Andre Lee Ellis works with the youth, etc. There are people and places that these youths can go and get taught. That's what I was trying to tell Cuzzo, but you know, he feels the way he feels. So, and like I said, he was around my family. It was some positivity in our family for parents, for kids who parents weren't, their home necessarily wasn't stable. You know, our kind of, a lot of me and my father and his brothers, a lot of them had homes that were, our shit we wasn't the Cosbys. So yeah, we had that element. But when you came to our house, my mother, listen, no games played. You get your shit right or you get the fuck out. That was just how she did. You wasn't finna, but I didn't have no daddy. I don't give a fuck if you had one or not. You didn't do that shit over here. Ewok said, Kev, tell your cousin if you know him for walking down the street shooting at random people, hell no, they ain't finna let you keep your gun rights. Well, yeah, if you in jail for a gun crime, I would suggest they don't give you another one. That's just my opinion. Right? Like you fucked that off. He said, take a basic firearm class. As I was talking about, when you purchase a firearm, you need to learn that firearm. Don't just have it and then one day grab it and think I'm gonna shoot it. Have you cleaned it? Have you oiled it? Do you understand how to strip it? There's a such thing called a field strip.
I do not know any of that about any of these guns I got.
You should learn, because if you go to pull that trigger and that son of a bitch jam, or you don't know if you got a bad pin in it, or you don't know if your magazine springs are, you're gonna be disappointed. That's how motherfuckers say die with your boots on. He had a gun though, and he still got killed because he didn't know how to work it. You know what you was doing.
I hope it ain't modified, Courtney. You probably bought a hot pistol off the street that was modified.
First off, I got all my stuff from gun shows and gun shops. Ain't nobody getting nothing off the street.
Exactly. Albert said no solutions. Hey, he said, what up, Kamar? He's speaking to you, Kamar. Albert's from over there by y'all. So yeah. Let me see.
Albert, you part of the Bell family?
Yes, his name is Albert Bell.
Yeah, don't start that.
She said, Albert, are you from the Bell family? His name is literally Albert Bell.
It don't mean that you really are part of the Bell family, though. You can have a family member, maybe your mom or dad is a Bell, and then the rest of your family is Johnsons, Williams. Like my family is the Bell reunion. Okay. I'm wondering, you get the Bell reunion with the Bell, or are you with the Williams now? And your last name Bell. I'm just trying to figure it out.
He said, agree, Kev, understand your weapon and how it works and operates, how to clean it and put it together and take it apart. He's speaking to you. He said, hey, juice lady. Albert's laughing at Dion saying the tea. I was like, what? He said, you like the tea. It's like, what is Dion talking about? Was that Dion trying to call me back? I'm sorry, Dion. I missed your call. I'm running my damn mouth. Said Court done got that Miracle Grow looking good. Oh shit. That's
You?
Ewok talking about your he's
What?
complimenting your hair. He said you got the
I
mental.
know old girl can grab the little 2 centimeters I had. 2 centimeters. She got it.
Said black people have no this is Shabaka. He says black people have no cohesiveness. Sad part is we will welcome Billy Bob and Becky in the hood. Next thing you know, you got another Jeffrey Dahmer savage. The ass scratchers and Yassa bosses got to go. Albert says He said Kev used to smoke squares. I didn't smoke squares. We would steal them. No, I wasn't a smoker, but we would steal a cigarette. We would steal a cigarette from my mama. Me and my brother might sneak one, or it might be one in the ashtray, and you just kind of pick it up.
And what were you doing?
I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't lighting up Newports every day. No, I wasn't no smoker. When I was in high school, I was a tremendous weed smoker. I smoked a lot of weed in high school and college, a lot.
And you smoked squares when you was younger. It's cool.
If that's how you want to remember me, but there's nobody literally who would say, yeah, I remember Kev came in one time, went in the store and bought a pack of cigarettes and lit up one. Like, no, I have hit a cigarette before. He said niggers. Al, Mama Jenkins said we beat asses in Fargo. I'm trying to tell you, man. Good. I'm so happy there was no Instagram and no Twitter or none of that shit. Because Kamar, we would have been in prison for a long time because it used to go down. I'm talking about, man, I had a blast. I was an individual who enjoyed a good fight. So it was all good for me. Like, what? Okay. That's what y'all want to do? I'm getting y'all ass. Y'all don't even know who y'all fucking with.
A lot of shit would have been on camera back then. A lot of school fights, all kind of shit. It was wild as a motherfucker back then, man.
Ooh, that first time probably would have been recorded. They
would be gang fights. Used to really be gang fights, dog. Like
I've been
30 motherfuckers fighting and shit in the school hall.
I've been in a gang fight on a city bus.
Oh wow!
Like it's just crazy. Just everybody get off the bus. Like it's just like, man. But Kamar, you are absolutely in the mall, in high school. We gonna meet up. We get off the bus in the morning and go into school, like fucking just fighting, man. Just
straight up.
Hey, what you go? And then in middle school, what tripped me out is because I'm from this beautiful black Nirvana, the Rufus King area neighborhood. It was so nice. I initially didn't understand the savagery, and girls at my middle school used to fight with padlocks. I'm talking about they was more savage than the dudes. Yeah. The girls were just, and this was when we left Fee Branch, Olive, where we got on the bus at, we went south. So we went straight through 53206, Burleigh, Buffum, Brown, all the way to the expressway, down below Burleigh. And that's my first experience with individuals who live down there. And so I said, it's something different about these motherfuckers. But them sisters who had that one little piece of braid hanging out that we call them scrunchies. And she had that one, like, I don't know if it was a sock or what it was, but it was just one little piece of braid hanging out of it.
Man, you better put your money on her.
Man.
You better put your money on her.
She's an animal.
She finna get down.
Go hard. She goes hard, man. Man, Bell Middle School, I'm telling you, man, they let all of us off the buses and we're on the playground before we go into school. And so it's like, I see this crew of girls going to meet somebody when they get off the bus with their crew and they go at it. I'm like, every security in the school, police, we got a code yellow, we got a code. And they used to be old and shit getting thrown around. It was very entertaining. Very entertaining.
See, that's the thing. Like men fight, men shoot, but when it comes to women, it just I mean, it's just the same thing. You said them chicks the other day at 107, they got shot by another chick. But like I said, since I moved here, like the type of aggression that I experienced from black women, especially black women up north, is just
it's palpable.
What's wrong with y'all niggas?
Shabaka said that right cross hits all by itself. Albert said it does not take money to raise good people, fam. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't think being poor just make motherfuckers just want to go whoop ass at school. Like
it's an excuse. It doesn't take money to. Okay. Okay, and I don't think you got to be rich to raise a good. I said poverty. I'm talking about what I mean about poverty. I'm just trying to get through the chat room. Jesse says epigenetics. Okay. He said, Albert is laughing at me. He said, not, he's laughing at Crackus.
Crackus.
Yeah, not Crackatize.
Again. You was like,
I was finna say Crackatize again.
I know.
But you know, Crackatize can be.
There's no I to be.
Well, Crackatize can be used if an individual goes into a place and he's living amongst white people and he or she becomes what we would refer to as a coon or a Tom. He's been Crackatized. Like Crackatized. See, we'll get to it on here. We'll get to it on here. I know. I was trying to clean my shit up. Said shout out to Dr. Joy DeGruer for writing about the post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm still gonna get to that. Albert says the cracks beast.
Okay, you got it.
I know he said have to go extra miles through it. It's worth it. I'm lost. Said yes, he's from the Bell family because his name is Albert Bell.
From Jackson, Mississippi / Rockford, Illinois. What Bell family you from? Who your cousins on Facebook? Let me see.
He is from the Bell family. Dion, you can hear me back. I know your signal dropped. Hit me back. He said I lost you. Let me see. Shabaka's up next. He says lesson from South Central Los Angeles: never let anybody know about your weapons. Mama Jenkins said there was some big thick ass white girls. They were corn-fed hoes. She's talking about white girls in North Dakota. Them big volleyball white girls, man. These girls bite ears like Mike. Albert, what? Albert, what? Shabaka said this is a no. He said Shabaka is a no Becky zone. Albert Bell said Willie D said bald head is the meanest hoe he ever seen. Bald head hoes. What you see, D? Oh, Courtney too young to remember that. Bald head hoes. I see some bald head hoes. Yeah, Willie D went in on that shit. Tiasha said, Kev, you sound like you are describing Queenie, rest in heaven, and her crew back in the days. See, I didn't even see Tiasha, you old enough to remember the Sheiks. This was a girl gang in Milwaukee. And Queena was the leader. And yes, her name rang. There was dudes who'd be like, man, shit. Like that. I'm trying to tell you. Everybody was fighting. Don't come outside if you can't fight. That's how it used to be. Like, oh, hey man, stay on your porch, bro. Just stay on your porch. I'm for real. Like, said it takes 6 guys to carry a man to his grave. It only takes one woman to put him there. Men, if you're gonna fight for money. It's quite easy to get a boxing license. This is Earl Henning saying dark meat only. Hey man, you deal with where you at. I don't know about y'all. That's a whole different conversation. I want to get back to the post-traumatic slave syndrome, and then I want to go into me talking about poverty being the biggest issue. All right. Well, in terms of post-traumatic slave syndrome, I don't necessarily believe in that because you can take two individuals from the same community with the same circumstances, and one individual will make decisions that benefit him or her and be able to progress and move past it. So if it was like post-traumatic slave syndrome, then I would think everybody would be affected and nobody would be able to rise above. I'm sure everybody has an opinion on that. That is mine. That's why I don't necessarily harp on this post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Everybody don't have it, Kev. That's just like PTSD. Everybody don't have PTSD after getting their ass whooped in a relationship. Some people might, some people might not.
That's true.
That's true. Be able to move on and be okay. You know.
That's true. Well, I feel like they build special places for people who can't adjust. They're called prisons. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you really want to say, hey, man, I was never really able to control myself because I have slave DNA in me. Because first of all, slaves were kind of docile. For the most part, they pretty much, Kanye said they chose to be slaves. So if we're going to look at somebody who's wilding out, I think they're not like a slave. Because if all the slaves was bugging out, we probably would have got free a lot earlier. That's just where I'm at with it. I don't know. When I talk about poverty becomes such a limiter. That's why I always reference it, because in terms of even eating right, like in terms of getting the right foods, like when you got this generation of kids who are raised on these super processed foods and all these cheap ingredients and all these chemicals, it does affect your brain, the way your brain develops. If you're not really objectively poor, you really eat better growing up. You know what I'm saying? You have less of a chance to eat lead paint chips at some tenement that's owned by a slumlord. Like the air, the water that you're drinking. And we know now that the oldest parts of the city where the lead laterals were, the lead poisoning. So when I say poverty, and even when it comes time for, like, in terms of learning and teaching your kids, if you don't have to work 3 jobs just to keep a roof over their head, it gives you a lot more time to spend with them. It gives you a lot more opportunities to take them and show them things and to teach them things. Like, I actually had, not that I'm rich or nothing, but we wasn't really poor growing up. I'm talking about raising my own kids. It gave me an opportunity to take my son somewhere on the weekend. I didn't have to work, Kamar. I wasn't coming in at 3rd shift and I ain't got time to figure out what's going on with him because I got to go to sleep. That's when I speak about poverty.
Right.
Normally, the environment that you're going to end up in, if you have a little money, if just to be middle class, it don't guarantee it, but it does kind of increase the possibilities that you might be okay. That's why I brought in poverty. I don't know. That's why I just want to explain that part. Was you trying to get in there, Kamara? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I was just finna agree. I was just finna agree with you. Poverty got a lot to do with it. You know, you talk poverty will keep you from going to even getting the money. You know what I mean? Because, like, how you gonna get there? You know what I'm saying? You may need a car. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna get there? You know what I mean? How you gonna find a way to make some money? Poverty is the shit. It's hard as hell to get over that hump.
Yes. And I get that some people have a spirit in them. There are a lot of us who have this kind of internal drive. Like you just said, this person might say, well, I don't know how I'm gonna get there. This person might walk to work every day. Whereas the next person, they just not built to do that. They're just saying, nah, man, but you walk. But that other person say, no, I'm gonna do it till I get me a car. Like so that's why I say I don't know. So
I'm a motherfucker that's gonna walk if I can.
Right. I'm not really in that tune now, but I have been before where I was like, shit, I'm gonna get there.
No,
it ain't gonna be. It ain't gonna be the excuse.
Yeah, that's what I say. If I got it,
yeah. I mean,
what the fuck I gotta do.
And I think a lot of times, if you come from a family or you come from parents who were poor, but they decided that I'm still going to make sure I instill something into my child. A lot of times that makes a world of difference because you have people who come from the most crazy situations. And they'll say, how do you survive that? Man, my mom and my dad just kind of stayed in there with me, man. And it kept me on the right track. But there's some people who say my mom and my dad tried, but I just wasn't listening. I just wasn't paying them any attention. I went my own way. Like it's really on the individual a lot of times. Albert said, I grew up on 17th and Center, and every day she put hands on men and women queens. Who we talking about, Al? Let me go back because I might have missed something. Who was putting hands on people on 17th and Center? Who we talking about?
Talking about that Queenie person y'all just talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Thank you, Courtney. Shit.
Story, Kev. Come on now.
Hey, man. When you got to operate any and everything that's pertinent to keeping this show on, then, it's easy for you to go take a break and go drink some soda and come back and sit down and be like, see, you read that wrong. When you ain't got to.
I have to go hit the weed, Kev.
There you go. Right. Let's see. That's all. I ain't got time to stop and hit my bowl. I got to keep the show going.
take a break and then let me and Kamar run it. So all right, I'm taking 3.
you just got here, so I would have been Kamar. What we talking about, man? You could take a break. But Kamar, hold it down till Courtney get here.
Y'all, at least I'm gonna be here like 8:30 now. It used to be 7:45. Now it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Right. Yeah. It gets to the point where you'll be here for the end monologue and be like, yeah. Oh yeah, but he said he was talking about Queenie putting hands on men and some queens and women queens. Yeah, there was a sister from my neighborhood who lived at one point in my neighborhood. Her name was Michelle. And this was the 80s. I'm not gonna speculate on what she did for a living I just know she would have all of the shit you would see the rappers. She's driving the Audi with the rims, with the bangs. Get out, she got the fat gold chains. She got Gucci this, she got Louis that. First time I ever seen anything that was Louis and all of this. I was, what is that? And so, and she was known for beating dudes' asses. Like people say, man, that girl right there, and you do not want to fuck with her. She beat dudes up. And so, you know, I know that there were some women back in them days who would really square up with you. Like, hey, what's happening? This is Al saying she busts out your windows. You come out. Queen put hands on you. Put hands on motherfuckers every day. He said he's seen it firsthand. Orlando Owens is in the building. Dion, if you gonna call back, hit us up, man. I told you I missed your call last time. I apologize. I was fucking off, as Courtney calls it. Albert said, I mean, she busts out your windows, whoop your grandma, uncle, brothers. She had at least 7, 8 motherfuckers behind her every time, too. Facts. Yeah. Milwaukee tends to deal with people like that in its own way. But what Biggie say, your reign on top was short like leprechauns. Because she actually even, and rest in peace to her, she died a violent death. And she went to jail. And she went to jail, too.
So did she die the death first? Or, I mean...
No, she went to jail. She went to jail. If I can remember this correctly, and Al, you said you knew her. There was her reign, and there was the Sheik's reign, and then she was gone, which happens in Milwaukee. You have this run where you and your crew would be running amok, and then y'all would be gone.
Motherfuckers definitely.
And a lot of times those individuals would come back out of jail, because I remember her coming home, and I was an adult. Now I'm in the club. I'm in the bar now, and she come in with her girls. And people be like, that's Queena. And I'd be like, oh, shit, that's her. It's like, whoa. And then somebody murdered her. So, whatever. Yeah. I mean, from what I remember, I don't remember seeing her as a young lady, because she wasn't on Capitol in our neighborhood. Her name was. We just heard about her. We just heard about the Sheiks. And I seen at the Palace, because I was fortunate enough to go to the Palace. I remember the Sheiks came in. They was deep. I didn't know which one was her. I was a little kid. I seen her afterwards, and I don't remember her being attractive to me. She was more manly than anything. When I seen her, she was more like, I thought she was butch. I thought she was a stud. I don't know. It's somebody who knows her personally might, know better than me. Let me see. He said it was mental illness to flee the plantation, Kev. Remember Drapomania? Oh, shit. Now, Courtney, you look at that word and tell me if I said it right.
Yeah, you did. It was Dropomania or Drapomania, but you was there. You was in there.
I just wanted to make sure, because I know you be on me about that shit. Who is this? Tiarsha was talking about Queen, and she said she wasn't trying to tell her age range. Hey, man, you got to accept that, Tiarsha. We is some old folks now. We is the old folks.
Y'all definitely old. I be feeling old, so I know y'all.
Well, I don't, I don't feel it. I don't walk around like I'm so old.
I feel like I'm
I just know. I just know I've been around a long time. But I don't think, like, people say you old, like you walk around all day saying, oh, I'm so old. You just can remember shit. Like, I look at it like this. 30 years ago, I was grown. I was already 20 years old 30 years ago. So I say, damn, I've been around a minute. I don't be like, oh, shit, I'm old. I joke about it a lot, but no, I don't. Ain't nobody.
Okay, the other day when I realized I couldn't eat hot food late at night, I was like, damn, niggas is getting there. I said, wow,
you just getting started.
Food? I said, oh my gosh, it's happening.
You just getting started. Jesse said, I'm talking about poverty being the root of the cause of a lot of the problems in our community. Yeah, that's what I had said too, Jesse. I probably didn't know what you were referring to, because I'm just reading everybody's comments. Shabaka said Black Experience Enhanced is now on StreamYard. Woo! Share the link. Mark Ross, how you doing, my brother? How you doing? Shabaka said that part. Earl Henning said, let me get this up here. My mother worked from 7 a.m. until 12 a.m. 2 jobs. I love you, Mom. I will never forget about your love for us. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's one of those individuals who had that drive that Kamar and I referenced, like a person who said, you know what? I'm not finna just sit on my hands with this shit. I'm going. See, my mom was the same way, right? Like, so if there came up like maybe a financial issue was going to come, this is real talk. My mother is going to go and pick vegetables. She's going to find meat deals. We had a chest type freezer and an upright freezer. And she would always say, the one thing we will never be is hungry. My mother went in a graveyard to pick grapes to make jelly out of. And I went with her. I couldn't believe it. She stood up on the tombstone and picked the grapes off the vine. and made jelly. She killed live chickens in our garage. If my father was in, it's going to cost me a lot of money to fix this or that. Mom's went and got a job somewhere. She'd be working at a random nursing home or something until we got our school closed, and then she quit. So she was that type of person where she just was like, nah, well, if you can't get there on the bus, walk. You'd be like, what you mean walk? Shit, walk. You heard what I said. That was her expectation of everybody, is to grind hard. I thought her name was DeVille Willis said Queena. Everybody saying Queena. I said it right. I didn't say Queenie. I said Queena. I remember. Come on, you was in West Lawn. You was way on the west side. Did y'all hear about her way out there, or was that just our neighborhood? You're muted. You muted, Kamar.
Yeah, we knew about her. I knew about her. Shit, everybody in the city knew about her. She was in that age bracket just over me, so I never had a chance to meet her personally. You know what I mean? I just knew of her real good. Like, I know a lot of people who knew her.
Okay. Yeah, I know back then,
but yeah, I definitely remember the area.
It depended on where you was from. You like, because we didn't go to the east side, and there wasn't a whole lot of east siders who came in our neighborhood. But if you was off Atkinson, or if you was off Teutonia or 27th Street or whatever, we all kind of mingled in that area. And then even when you came up on that end where you was at, that was
back then it was like, back then Milwaukee was like Cali with different neighborhoods, and you was just in your hood. You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee everybody was more now it's just a free fall again.
It is. I was just gonna say that because I know back in the day the East Side had its own little name. You didn't really want to mess around with the East Side and the East Side niggas, but it's like now I guess
I'll tell you who had a name, and I've never heard anybody say anything contrary to this. What I always heard was that Hillside dudes was the roughest dudes in the city. I've heard so many cats older that I respect that was real thumpers say, man, them Hillside niggas rough. Like, man, them dudes back in the days, man, you ain't messing around with them dudes. I heard that a lot. And then Westlawn kind of became notorious. But Lapham Park and Hillside back in the days, everybody said, man, you don't want to fuck around down there. That shit's rough. Let me see. Earl said when she kicked that door in, that was her ending. Is that what happened? I didn't know. I don't have the details of her murder. Who is this? Kevin LaFleur. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show. He said they found her dead on 32nd in Hampton. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Milwaukee is one of them cities. That's why I don't like for people to disrespect this city like it ain't no real shit here. Like it ain't no real dudes here. You come here on some bullshit, you will get your wig twisted. You come here, all these Milwaukee niggas and Milwaukee niggas, your ass will get put in a box. So you give every other city that respect, if that's what you call respect. I'm just saying we're not to be taken lightly. And I don't want credit because people get fucked up here. That's contrary to my, I'm not saying we deserve credit because the crime rate is high. I'm just saying there's like a disrespect and a disregard. Like when I first went to school and I got to Minneapolis, they said, brother, I had gold in my mouth. There was a big dude with an afro with a herringbone on. They thought I was from the South. Where you from, dog? You from Gary? Where you? I'm from Milwaukee. There's black people in Milwaukee? I used to be like, nigga, take you on a little ride with me. DeVille said, yes, the Palace on East Capitol, man. I didn't get old, but shit, 8, 9 years old. We used to go to the Palace. We used to walk to the Palace. Say that again, Courtney.
How old?
8, 9. My brother was like 11. He was 11 or 12, so my mother would always make him take me with him everywhere. You gotta take Kevin.
The Palace, then.
It was a skating rink.
Okay.
It was a skating rink on East Capitol. It's like a warehouse now, but it didn't at first it became like a indoor soccer thing, but it's a warehouse like cold storage now. But back in the days, it was a roller skating rink, and they had arcade and all that shit, and it was catered to teens. But guess what would happen in there all the time?
Niggas fight.
Getting your ass whooped, especially when we do all night skate. You in there, they lock the doors. You stay in there all night. Somebody will get their ass whooped. It's what it is until they closed it. Like, look, this is too much. And somebody got really fucked up one time. They got really fucked up, and they was like, "Oh, enough is enough," because people have been complaining. Like, yeah, I mean, it was all fights, no gunshots, no knives. You might have got hit with a skate or something. You know, my brother just, if you couldn't skate, you had to go in the middle. And my brother was the best big brother in the world because he didn't want me. He knew if I went home fucked up, my mother was going to fuck him up. So he going to get me right away. They fighting. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm dumb. I don't want to see it. If you don't bring your ass on. So he always got me away safe. You know what I'm saying? Kamar, you muted if you speaking.
So where's your brother at right now, Kev?
My brother right now currently is in North Carolina. He lives in he just moved back to North Carolina. He was here, but he went back. My brother was on the show here for a long time. Bear meat. That's what we used to call him, bear meat. He was on the show for a long time. But he made sure anytime we went to Capitol Court, I don't care where we was. If they start fighting, my brother was going to grab me and we gone. He going to make me. Like, he dragged me. Like I said, I be trying to see. I wanted to be with the shits. Like, let's bring your ass on. Like, damn, can I take my skates off? He was 3 times bigger than me too, so that helped. Let's see. Ernest Walker said Orlando probably thinks Trump is doing a great job with this cabinet full of dummies, letting the world listen to top secret military strikes. We did get off that topic on how y'all feel about what Trump is doing. I want to extend that to my panel. Let me get done with the chat room. Albert says 7 years old. I was in breakdancing group with Ice Moan, Bruce City Breakers. Yes, we was breakdancing, putting cardboard boxes on the ground, spinning on our heads. He said, I'm always talking about poverty being the root. This is Jesse Paris. He said, I'm always talking about poverty being the root cause of a lot of problems in our communities. I say that all the time. I believe so. Shabaka said, Outlaws, get with us on StreamYard sometimes. You just got to send me the link. I
mean, but don't white people be poor and be in trailer parks? I mean, do they be out
yes.
like this? They be out here just fighting and aggressing each other all the fucking time like we do?
Yes. Go to a trailer park. They smoke meth. They fight, they kill, they smoke meth, they pop pills. They have a whole opioid epidemic going on right now. Anybody who believes poor white people are just as dysfunctional as poor black people. That's why I say poverty is one of the common denominators, because it doesn't matter what race you are. If you take me to the high poverty part of their community, it's crime and dysfunction. It's homes with no fathers. There's teenage pregnancy. There's chemical dependency. It doesn't matter what race you are. But the media will make you think it's just us. Oh, those niggers are animals, right? Like, but some of the worst behavior you ever gonna witness is some poor ass West Virginian white people. You bet that's who do the inbreeding. They have documentaries right now about white people in the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia who are 10 generations inbred. Some of them motherfuckers walk around with 3 feet, back shaped like a question mark. Like, they fucked up. But white people slide that undercover.
It's a series of videos. I think I know what you're talking about, man.
Yes.
He in the raggedy ass, stinking ass house and shit.
Trailers.
All by themselves in the middle of no motherfucking where.
Whole family.
They just been inbreeding with each other for generations and shit, man. And they all fucked up.
Trying to tell you, man.
Really fucked up.
I tell you what. Go to the South Side, cross that bridge, and go to the poor white community. What you think you're gonna see? You're gonna see some dysfunction.
Yeah, they jacked up too over there.
Listen, I've worked with white people who are Wauwatosa, Kenosha, Waukesha, Pewaukee, Janesville. You think it ain't no poor white people out there because it's far away? Poor as a motherfucker. That's why you're always here.
I think it's not poor white people.
You froze up, Courtney. What you say?
No, I don't think it's not poor white people. I just want to know, it's just because they poor, are they out here doing all this violent shit? I mean, even in school, the youth just be out here fighting and bust people in their shit for no reason and shit, beating up old people the way our youth do. Yeah. They don't get the spotlight. We're in the city. It's 1 million cameras in the city. You go up north with them meth running motherfuckers up, them poor motherfuckers up there. Them motherfuckers be getting it in. You watch these documentaries, watch these crime shows. They'd be like, Billy Ray
Kozlowski murdered his girlfriend and buried her, and then he murdered his grandmother and took her social security card and went on a 7-county crime spree. You be like, damn, this white boy crazy. They don't want to talk about that though. They want to talk about this little kid in the ghetto who got caught with $50 worth of crack, and they're gonna invest $500,000 in punishing him for the crime.
No. Not even that. I just want to know about like the way we be fighting and whooping ass on each other.
And I'm telling you, yes.
On each other like that.
I'm telling you, yes. I'm telling you, it's the same set of behavior, man. White people don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that. Albert said we always won awards at the Palace for best Milwaukee breakdancing group. The Dope took over in 1983. Yeah, man. That's E40. I remember when the world went crazy back in 1985. That's when that shit flipped. And you said, wait, what the fuck? What just happened? It's like, this ain't Milwaukee no more.
Yeah, hey, look. Right. Now, I'm agreeing.
I'm just me being a little kid. I literally woke up one day and was like, what happened? Like, this city was totally different. It was you just start seeing shit you didn't see before. Like somebody grandmama on crack, or somebody whole family is on crack to the point where they now living with their great-great-grandmother. And you like, you in school and it's a new student class. You just moved. You just moved over here. My great-great-grandmother lived down. Your great-great-grandmother? Yeah, my pop's in jail, or he got killed, or my mom's had problems. And we knew. You knew who mama was, a dope fiend and whatnot. Like, it's damn, what's up with your mama? Jesse said my mom was the same way. Not like a dope fiend, but with that internal drive that I was talking about. He said she was canning too. That's a lost art. Yeah, my mama put everything in a jar. Me and my brother split all. When my mom passed, we went up in the pantry, went all the way up to the top pantry. It was shit in there from the 80s. Sitting up there, jelly and preserves and all kinds of shit, man. I was a bucket of cracklings that she would make. Go in there and get you some cracklings. That's deep fried pig skin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Albert Best said he said Hillside, you got robbed, but my whole family was there. I was good, but nigga, no representative you robbed and whooped on. God, wait, hold on.
You robbed and whooped on God.
He said he was there. His whole family was there. He was good. But nigga, no representatives. If you had no representatives, you got robbed and whooped on. Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, I just drove past there on my way downtown. I never even stopped. My first time in Hillside was when I worked in Hillside, and I was like, damn. And that was a few years ago. I was like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, I done did love Uber over there, and at night, and you just see the rats and things running through. Oh man.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And yeah, and my office was in the high rise. So, and this when they start working on downtown. So literally I would pull up in the morning like, is that a puppy on the grass? It's a dead rat. That's the biggest rat I ever seen in my life. Like, that's a rat? People calling, Mr. Barnes, I've been calling maintenance all day. My kid's scared to go. I gotta take my kids out. There's a big ass rat dead at our door. It's like, man, you had to step over it or something. It was bad. It was bad. I can imagine how it was. And they actually stepped in and regulated Hillside the way they did West Lawn. Except they just went on ahead and tore West Lawn down and just rebuilt it. But at a certain point, they came in and tore down some of the buildings in Hillside and kind of went through there a little bit and ran off some of the worst elements, I'll just say. But I would meet people who, when I worked there, who said, we've been here 35 years. Like, my grandmother lived here. She raised me here. I got my wife and kids here now. Like, damn, 3 generations. He said Denver was like that too. We had East Side versus Hillside, West Side versus East Side, North Side versus West Side. Damn. Al said his pop side was in Hillside.
Is he saying his pop side was in Hillside, or is he saying his pop side is the Bell family? What we saying, Kev?
I'm running through it, so it could be either or. I don't know. But that's a good point, though. Thank you. Because you did ask the question. I didn't care. Once I figured out his name was Albert Bell, I assumed he was in the Bell family. You asked the question like, are you from the Bell family? Albert Bell? So, yeah, okay.
I know people here that have the same last names, and they're like, oh, no, we're not related. And that is crazy. So both of y'all Lawsons, but y'all not cousins? Like, no, we're not related. Like how?
There's some different barns here, but they're from St. Louis. There's the only Mallets here, I'm kin to them. The only Zolikoffers here, I'm kin to them. But Barnes, I've heard people say Barnes, like, where you from? St. Louis.
Oh
But
no,
they might still be my cousin though, because I heard tell of my grandfather spreading his seed up and through St. Louis a long time ago. But that's a different show.
Okay.
So for those who want to join us on StreamYard, please email frederick.d36@yahoo.com.
Yes.
Okay. He said, and step uncle heads hillside reps. So maybe he was answering my question.
Who knows, Kev? I think
See, that's why I said I keep my options open. I don't know. Same in Denver with that BS FAFO. Shit, what's a FAFO? Said, remember DJ Quick got beat up in the 90s coming out here with that nonsense, then made that song just like Compton, then had to apologize for it. Erica, I do remember Quick having issues. He did talk about Denver. He said he hit some people in the face with a bottle out there, though. He didn't say he apologized. Erica Hunt said, what up, Outlaw? What up, Erica?
Hey, Erica.
Jesse Perry said, I got you, Kev. I have your email. I'll send you the link from now on to the StreamYard. You can just send it to my messenger, and then I can just click on it. I send our link from StreamYard to a message to our little group, and everybody who's on the show gets the link. We are in a state of emergency. We don't have time to worry about other groups. I agree with that. Earl Henning said the hills of Mississippi, Tennessee, Louisiana, they all over that place. He's talking about poor white people. Shabaka said North Las Vegas is really fucked up. Erica Hunt said, yes, they do. Except they beat up the moms and kill cats and dogs. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer. That motherfucker made Charles Manson look like a schoolboy. E40 is from the Valley of the Hoes. I know he's from Vallejo. Is that what they call it out there? Did I miss my mama?
I can see that. Vallejo, Valley of the Hoes, yeah.
E40 call it Valley Joe, though. I don't know.
I can see it.
You know, Shabaka got his own names for everything out there.
Right. Valley of the Hoes. Earl Henning said, I miss my mama pears, preserves, biscuits on a Saturday morning with sausage from 16th and North Avenue. Yeah, you old school. Old school. He said the FAFO, okay, I'm learning what this means. Fuck around and find out. I see, Courtney, you were supposed to know that. You didn't see?
I didn't look. It be so many of them goddamn acronyms nowadays. So much new shit. I'm like, every day it's a new one out there.
I want to, since I'm on this pro Milwaukee thing, I want to acknowledge and even shout out to brother Steve the Stoner, because he is out here, and I've seen big time. He's doing it, man. And it ain't no stupid ass drug rapping, no fake thug shit. He's dancing. It's a dance, and it's viral. And I don't like dance videos, but when somebody from the city represents, it's dope. So and it's funny, and celebrities be like, "Oh, this shit is," you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, man.
Would you do it though? If he came to the show and was like, "All right, y'all got to do it," would you uptown, downtown? Would you do it? Roll your
Absolutely
body?
Not.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
Damn, Kev.
No.
Kamar, would you do it? If he pulled up to Vitality?
If he came up to the house of Vitality, it was like, "Hey, bro, you got to do this with me." I'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
I'll do it. I'll have some fun with it. But that's me, though. You know what I mean?
Courtney, I can promise anybody listening to this show that
I'm with the video and all that shit.
You would never see me publicly do this. I'm never doing that on Facebook. I am never gonna be. That's not. No, I'm not gonna do that. Look, I'd be laughing and cheering, and I'd be like, "Yeah, man, that's what's up." But no, I'm not doing that.
Kev, you don't do the uptown now.
I will not do. I will sit my ass down. I will. No, I'm not a dancer. Never have been. When I was really young, when I first got to go to the clubs and shit, I would be on the wall or I'd be at the table. But the only thing that changed that was at a certain point early on, girls would, like, I guess because I wasn't dancing, they would come and be like, oh, come on, dance with me, come on. Dance. And there's 3 girls, so I got this 2-step where I might get up and just kind of be like, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't none of that. It wasn't none of that. It's just that side to side.
Yeah, I'll be dancing my ass off. I ain't gonna
Nah,
I
nah,
can
I know.
imagine.
I'll be bugging. I was a booty grabber too when I'm dancing.
See, there we go. That's what. See, there we go, Dion. There we go.
Of
He's a booty grabber while he's dancing, is what he said. Yeah.
Of course he is.
Of course he is. Jesse said he apologized and he got hit with bottles and was upset years later. Apologized. Look at it. If he did, okay. I just love the song. I was a big time DJ Quick fan. I loved Just Like Compton. I thought that, and that album was dope as shit to me. I fucked with Quick real heavy. So I was just like, damn, he had a fight in Denver.
That was a classic.
That
album was a classic.
Yeah. And I heard he had some issue here. At that time, they were saying something had happened here. He didn't mention us on the song. So I don't know.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, he did have an issue here. Yeah, and you're right. He didn't mention it. It wasn't no big of an issue for him to mention it, I guess.
Okay. I don't know.
I remember when all the celebrities used to have problems with Milwaukee back then.
But they always came. They always came to perform. They always came. My friend worked at a liquor store. June, you remember June? I don't know if you remember when June worked at the liquor store, Safer Liquor, him and Rock on North Avenue. And I was in there one night, and Scarface and the Ghetto Boys and all them dudes was in town. I went to pick up June, and they all came in the store. That's how when I realized rappers are short. Because I'm like, damn, they sound big. Like I was seeing Scarface and Willie D. Willie D, I think, was about 6 feet, maybe. But everybody else is pretty short. We know Bushwick was short, but I was just like, damn, they little. Like their security was big, but they wasn't that big. Said, what's the latest on the dump as inhuman shit? And I want to make that perfectly clear. To quote another crook, dancing too much for caveman Kev. That's what she said. No, dancing like that is too much for me. Like to see me on a video doing the latest dance trend, that will never happen. I'm not a dancer. Everybody can't be a dancer. I am a caveman, but I'm not a dancer. He said, give him the invite and he'll get back with you. You know what? I don't know. I've thought about it. Inviting him on just to congratulate him. I want to shout out Milwaukee Academy of Science, Wisconsin Lutheran, and Tulsa West High School. They all won state championships in basketball. Division 1, 2, and 3. All Milwaukee area schools. MAS is big because it's a bunch of young brothers. I know I have some insight on how that whole program was kind of came about and watched them over the years. My son competed against them with Power 5 and AAU, and a couple of the kids on that team, I remember them played with my son in AAU. So I was happy to see. And the city schools used to win state in basketball damn near every year. We got to the point where city schools going to the playoff, getting their ass whooped by these white boys up north. And so, It just kind of felt, it felt good. And even though I think Wisconsin Lutheran and Tulsa West, they had white boys on the team, but there was a lot of young brothers. But MAS, I was really proud of because it's all brothers, all black coaches, everything. I was like, that's what's up, man. And that's what I'm saying when people say, well, there's nothing positive. Like these kids ain't. There is. I seen Kamar. Some of these kids on that team, my son was pointing them out to me. And my first experience with them was when he was in like 6th, 7th grade. So they're now seniors. Mm-hmm. He's a freshman in college. So, but what I'm saying is, for years, basketball was their focus. They were in the gym. They went to school. They kept themselves somehow out of trouble, and they made decisions that helped them kind of rise above, because I'm sure a lot of them are from some adverse situations. I'm sure they are. So shout out to them. I'm proud of them. Dion, what's on your mind, man? My bad, man. I missed your call, man. I know you back with us. What's popping with you?
Nothing much, I ain't gonna be able to hang like I used to with you guys because I got to get up at 4:45 in the morning. But did you just laugh, Kev?
Yeah, you getting that money, that truck wearing that ass out.
I ain't gonna say all that.
You're right.
I'm really disappointed on how the city of Milwaukee functions. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? But You know, I inboxed you and Kamar that dude was talking about, you know, the felon, the firearm felon thing. I inboxed y'all and shared.
Okay.
Really, we just sitting back watching everything that's going on with this administration. You know, some people, and I just can't believe. I think a lot of these black men that be supporting Trump, I think they just be doing it just a clock, though. You know what I'm saying? Because I just really, you have nothing in common with this man. You know what I'm saying? Like even I don't give a fuck whether who it is. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no commonality, and his policies is not beneficial to us now whatsoever. You know, like, you know, they try to say Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And then, you know, they try to say this, that, and the other. But I ain't gonna lie to you, though, the Democrats, and, you know, like you said, I guess, I mean, I favor the policies of the Democrats, but they looking pretty weak, man. I can't even lie to you, man. You know, I don't know what's going on. They got, what's her name, AOC? I can't pronounce her whole little Mexican name. You know what I'm saying? Her and Bernie Sanders running around here. Okay. Bernie Sanders is old as dirt. You know, I hope they ain't trying to have them on the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Because Bernie Sanders would be like 95 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, don't try to run for president in 2028. You know, and I really don't see nobody out here that's gonna make a difference as far as, you know. So only thing we can do is sit back and just, you know, buckle up for the ride. You know what I'm saying? And take it one day at a time as it comes. You know, because it's coming. You know, and
Earl said,
we can really do about
Earl said city and Milwaukee workers don't work.
You know what? I can kind of agree with that, though, because it'd be like my thing is with the motherfuckers I be working with, like we are rushed because I do the sanitation, you know, the garbage. So today I was on recycling, and I was with a European. So I can say, like, damn, like, dude, he'll see, because people don't use their recycling bins for what it's for. And he was like, they're not using it what it's for. Boom, threw it in the packer. You know what I'm saying? That's the compressor. Like, damn, you gonna take them people whole recycling bin, you know what I'm saying, and throw that shit away. You know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, like they had, because I ain't got my own route yet, and I'm learning how to read the map and stuff like that. So they had me with motherfuckers, and then motherfuckers be rushing, trying to get down by 11:30 or 12. We got to stay there at 3 o'clock. I don't want to sit down on 14th and Walnut at 3 o'clock in them people's face. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be out here all day, but I definitely just don't want to just be sitting down there. And I be nodding like I'm on heroin and you can't go to sleep. You know, it's the difference in motherfucker. Like, no bullshit, Kev. I come home every day about 3, because I get off at 3, make it here about 3:15. I sleep. I get in the shower, sleep for like 3:45, like 5:45. Like today, I woke up right before your show. I woke up at 7:19, and I'm about to be back asleep at 11 o'clock. Like, I'm not used to the first shift. I never like first shift. Like, I'm a second shift guy. You know, normally I'll be on the road, coming from outskirts of shit, and come home and get off at 11, be up at 2 or 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm getting up at 4:40. I'll be hot. I'm talking about when I say I'll be hot, I'll be like, man, dude, trying to hang in there. It's nothing I'm gonna make a career of. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna try to hang in there a year, but I don't know. I don't really see it. I know I'm gonna hang in there to April 10th, because that's when I get my first paycheck. And you know, I started March 17th last Monday, so yeah, it's nothing that I'm favorable with. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the hours and shit like that, and you know, even how it's ran down there. You know, it's not run. They're not coordinated. They're not organized. It's all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker could be listening like, yeah. Ooh,
right. Your ass get there in the morning, they be like, you straight. They be like, you good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
They pulled me in the office door a couple of times already. It was like, you know, and I was like, yeah, because I'm used to consistency. Anybody that's got a job down there used to consistency. I know every now and then it'll be, you know, because that happened with me in trucking. You know, I might come in, hey, we need you to run a Brilliant, or we need you to run a Two Rivers, or you might have to go here. Okay, cool. But every day, inconsistency, it started getting kind of frustrating, especially for somebody that used to coming from a world where every day I know this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. You know, like one of my friends, you know what I'm saying, one of my ladies friends, to have a talk with me. She was like, sometimes we need to be shook up. You know, sometimes you need that you know, that chaos in your life. Not negative, but, you know, like you need the inconsistency just to be like, just to throw you off balance. Like, hey, your life ain't gonna always be like this. Or something. Like, I'm one of them type of people that when adversity comes to me, sometimes I I get aggressive with it. You know what I'm saying? I be like, man, fuck this shit. I ain't got to deal with this. I got a Class A CDL. I can go anywhere. You know, because matter of fact, before the city called me, the MPS, remember I told you MPS had scheduled me to go take the boiler attendant trainee, the test. And by then, I was already fully hired with the city. I just had to go to orientation. So I didn't want to now, if MPS would have hit me for the city, I would have probably held on to my other job a little longer when it took the boiler trainee, because I got my certification to operate a low pressure boiler. And when it did that, and then probably been an MPS employee now. But I got a mortgage, and my mortgage went up because my escrow was a little under the weather. So you know what I'm saying? So and taxes and shit, you know, MPS with these referendums and shit, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story right here. So, you know, I got to keep money flowing in the house, you know. And then another thing, I gave them 2 jobs for one. Because remember, I was working part-time as a food service assistant at MPS. So I gave them 2 jobs for one. You know, I do my little Amazon Flex on the side, but I've been looking for me another little part-time job. So I don't know, but shit, I'm about to probably jump in this sack. Oh, juice lady gone. I was about to say I could use some company, but you know I need to hear.
Hey, Dion, keep your $40 in your pocket, man. Don't be out here like that.
I got 80 now. I got 80.
Oh, he about to have a threesome.
I'm about to lay down and put the timer on and watch you guys, no homo, till I fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? But I holler at y'all Wednesday, man. Love you niggas, man. Y'all be safe out there, man.
Peace, my brother.
And check out that information that I gave y'all too, man. It's in y'all inbox.
All right.
All right, good night.
Yeah.
Good night, fellas.
Let me see. Shabaka says Bernie Sanders is senile. Fuck Gavin Newsom. Bernie Sanders, this is Jesse, said Bernie Sanders is 83 years old, 1 year older than Jim Crow Biden. And him and AOC just had a rally here in Denver. 34,000 people attended. Is Trump 79? Ain't he 80? I mean, what they all old white men. They're all old. Said the Democrats are done. If AOC, Kamala, and Bernie are the best they got, they can hang it up in 2026 and 2028. We'll see. I said, look, a couple weeks ago, I said black people, and I keep talking about black people. We're in a holding pattern. We're still kind of like, okay, what's going on here? It is a slow degradation of this is why I side eye Trump. Because I got a problem anytime you take anybody's basic rights away from them. And although I understand, because they did this anti-segregation thing where they're saying, you know, we're going to make it so you can hang up signs that say whites only and this kind of thing. That's fine, because I'm one of those individuals that if you don't want me in your house, I don't want to be in there. You don't want me in your restaurant, I don't want to be in there. I don't feel like I lose anything by a store or a business saying, hey, we don't serve black people. Like maybe some convenience, okay? I'll be forced to find somewhere else to go. But I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I want to go in there so bad. Everything they has in there is just so great. I mean, in today's society, I'll find somewhere else to get it. I hope. When we talked about the DEI thing, you know, I look around and I'm not a DEI hire, nor have I ever been. Talk about him going after colleges and institutions, like really sweating them about certain policies and things that they have going on. Well, you know, I went to a historically white college, but I wasn't a DEI applicant. They recruited me because I played sports. So DEI, Kamar, my point is DEI has never had that big an impact on my life. That's why when they kind of went at dismantling, I was saying, okay. And once again, the reality, if you look behind the numbers, people say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Bullshit. Numbers are skewed all the time. Numbers can lie. Numbers aren't people. That's why you have all kinds of different, you know, mathematic theories and things of that nature. There's such things as variables and probabilities. And this shows you how numbers can lie if you don't understand how to read them. Okay. So when you start to talk about taking rights from people, it makes you wonder, okay, well, when you coming for me? You know what I'm saying? And you just don't know. You don't know. We don't know right now what the top level of government in this country, what are they doing with our money? You hear all this stuff thrown out about billions of dollars in wasteful spending, and we just cut this and we cut that, and then you hear the counterfacts about, hey, no, they didn't cut that, and you got judges standing up. This is all one big ass mess, Kamar. This is so convoluted and it's so messy. That's why I like to pay more attention to local politics. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear that there's a $200 million in revenue generated from a tax increase, and 90% of it is already allocated to pension payments, I'm upset about that shit. That shit gets me upset. What Trump is doing, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. But I'm looking at what the city of Milwaukee is doing. You charge people to park on the street.
Yeah, now see, that type stuff affect us a lot more. That affect us a lot more than these motherfucking shits, tariffs, and all this other bullshit that we watching Trump do. This is the shit that's affecting us more. But you know what I mean? We talking about all that other shit. Like, this is what we looking at. It's almost like they pulling the wool off our eyes with Trump locally.
Okay, so now, of course, as consumers, we're going to eventually be affected by the tariffs, right? That's without any kind of
definitely.
But when I look at a community where you have a school system with a failing $1.5 billion school system, you have a community that has, but they have a $1.5 billion budget, but it's failing. When I look at our law enforcement saying we don't have the ability to police this community, but your annual budget takes up the most of our city budget. And with this tax increase, one of the demands is that you get more officers. And then you break it down to a housing authority that has been run so badly for years, in which they basically have stolen from the federal government and the city, and nobody's held accountable. See, shit like that, I feel like I'm with you, Kamar. Like, wait, what's powering all this is the property tax levy. And what Dion just referenced, my property taxes have gone up because of a $252 million referendum for a school system that already has a $1.5 billion budget. And then you find out that they have just misappropriated and mishandled money. It's your money. Even if we go back to the fact that we had to walk on our knees to the state to basically borrow money to balance out our books, but that's our money as well. Milwaukee is the largest. We generate more tax revenue than anywhere else. And this is the same state that told us just a few years ago that they had $1 billion surplus. None of this shit makes sense. I just don't hear the amount of what we call fervor. I feel like people should be really mad about that. That kind of shit should make you want to say, you know what? I'm not your enemy. You're not mine. Because I'm not the person who passed this. You're not the person who passed it. Can you imagine what this city would have been able to do if that $200 million was allocated evenly, Kamar? Just think about that. Okay? If you gave $20 million, say you gave 50 out of 200 back to infrastructure and investment in the city, $50 million. Now, the problem becomes that had they have done that, would it have actually gotten to the people, or would there have been more fat catting in which, the powers that be intercepted it? But I'm just saying, and I know it's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking for me to say, hey, a $50 million investment into this city, South Side, North Side, East Side, West Side. Come on, man. Look at the streets. Look at our streets right now. Snow is melted. Pothole. There's some deep ass potholes in some of these streets. You could have put some money on that. But they have a budget, but you could have. This should have been extra. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is But people say, well, it was meant to balance so we wouldn't be on a fiscal cliff. Okay, well, your smart ass come up with some laws that get rid of this foolish ass pension shit. Well, you won't, because who does it really benefit? Y'all the city workers, the administrators, y'all got all the top jobs. That's a lot of brothers and sisters working for the city on a garbage truck, on a construction site and all this kind of thing. But even when you get to the development of these expressways and these interchanges, Kamar, those are contracts handed out to contractors. The city ain't working on the freeway. Are they even working on the streets? They always digging some shit up. I seen where they dug some shit up down the street, and the way they fixed it, I said, for real? Shit look like I did it. Like, for real? That's just how y'all gonna leave this thing? Like, right. I just came down here and did this. So I'm just saying, man, it gets me upset. I get more upset about that kind of stuff. And that's why whenever somebody brings a lot of Trump stuff up to me, I often just reflect back on what's happening in our own community, because they've played in our face to the point where, I mean, they've actually come on television. I remember there was a magazine, and it had our county executive and the mayor on the front, and it said Faces of Power. And they were big up in them for passing this tax referendum, this tax act. And then we found out that even in spite of the tax increase, the county still had a $19 million budget deficit. So what did they do? We're going to increase the property tax levy, which means homeowners are going to pay more. At that time, we didn't know, when our mayor was like, well, shit, we ain't got no deficit. We didn't know that out of this 200 million, 90% of it would go to pension payouts. I don't recall him talking about that when he was selling this to us. The people in Milwaukee should be fucking outraged right now. I just can't understand how we're not. But like you said, Kamar, I think Trump provides this great distraction because it's easy to say, look at what he doing. And he is crazy. And he is saying and doing the wildest shit. But look what they doing downtown, right here in this city. You can't protect it. You can't fix it. You can't educate it. What are you doing? What are we paying you for? To smile? Shabaka says them dismantling DEI was the best thing to happen. That way black businesses don't have to hire other groups. We hire ourselves. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, one thing we've done on this show is talked a lot about the damage of forced integration and the damage that it did on us as entrepreneurs and black business owners. But that was it was a self-inflicted wound. We ran away from doing business with us because, Lord have mercy, white ice is so much colder. I don't want no black ice. I want white ice. So, yeah, we always talk about that,
Yeah, that go both ways. You know what I mean? Like a lot of black people get mad, but shit, that just means we could do the same thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we get that same action. We ain't got to hire who we don't want in our shit.
That's right.
We can keep our shit all black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're supposed to be hiring our own any motherfucking way.
And the funny part is, Kamar, we can put no whites allowed in our businesses because a lot of times when you have a successful black business, the majority of your patrons are black people anyways. You know what I mean? The white people don't usually, they're not really going to be really supportive of, I'm going to go. Yeah, there's no reason to, right? I bought a building.
Now, I mean, I do know some. Hey, look, now I do know some white people that's real supportive of House of Vitality. You know what I mean? They faithful. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that for the most part, you know what I mean? We shouldn't care.
Right.
No more. You know what I mean? Like, so what? Y'all don't want us in y'all places. It's a lot of places we gonna be able to go to where we ain't got to be around them either.
And I think they better think about
our restaurants. Restaurants taste better to us anyway.
And I think they better consider what the effect on their bottom line is going to be if we stop spending our cash with them. They say don't blow your nose to spite your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fuck around and find out.
There we go.
Fuck around and
FAFO.
find out.
FAFO, like Jesse said.
You know what I'm saying?
Local, state, and politics affects you more on a daily basis. I believe that. Parking on the streets of Las Vegas can go as high as $80. See, we got these permits. And even with the permit, you got to move your car from one side of the street to the other. You know what I'm saying? But you also, if you own your home, you pay property taxes. Our public services are paid for by the city. So you're taxing me 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. You charging me for my house. You're charging me to fix it. You charge me to park on it. You charge me to pay for the cops that come and give me the ticket. It's crazy. So the best way to fight tariffs, do not buy the shit.
Hey, that I gotta pay you out of the money that you taxed already.
Right. Right. Property tax. You go pay the ticket, they say, well, we're putting taxes on it now. It went up. A processing fee. Because if you go get, that's what the governor talking about, raising the price of auto registration by 70%. And you paying you pay luxury taxes if you have more than one car. So I'm like, wait a minute. You're gonna raise the price of that when we pay you and the motherfuckers who make the plates. Like, it's more and more and more on the backs. That's why when I get to poverty, Kamar, when I'm saying a person who might hustle their ass off to get a car so they can get to work, but then that individual can't even afford to get the plates yet. So when he try to run out to get to his job, he gets pulled over. Now he got tickets. Right. He ain't got no insurance. Now they want to take your car. Yeah. So poverty, poverty.
And that was my point. And that was my point about getting to where you got to get some money. How poverty affects you.
Yeah. What's within your reach? These motherfuckers say they hiring, they paying $17 in Oak Creek, and you live on Center Street. You like, well, shit, that's a haul. It's gonna cost me to get there. Now, I'm not giving you no excuse, because I believe you need to find a way. Because the alternative is I'm about to go out here and violate somebody else. I'm gonna go steal something. I'm gonna go do, and then you got to deal with the law. And then, so, you know, it's that circular system. Earl Henning said we are being played. And he said no power with them two. He said no power with those two, the mayor and the county executive. Listen, I think the people need to say that to them, though. And they're both black men. So we are like, you know, man, feel good to see a black man in position. But I don't hear has either one of them even said, yo, this shit was foul because we gave 90% of this shit to just the pensions? Even if this was just something that would happen, okay, we just gonna do that the first year, I would have at least came out and said that, just for the sake of transparency to people. Like, okay, I know y'all upset, but they're grinding for massa, and I don't think that they so far in, or they say you in too deep. So you ain't gonna turn around at this point and say, no, hold on. Well, at least not to us. They're playing the role, you know, they looking to get a black man anyway, so I got to go along and do all this. All right, you're a professional politician. Jesse is agreeing with you, said, right, Kamar. Shabaka said you can register a car in Nevada for $100. Fuck California, they want about $350. Oh my gosh, man, it's ridiculous. And it's so many ways. That's why we need to pay attention to local politics. And that's just the bottom line, man. That's why I always encourage people when you say, well, I'm gonna vote, but then you just vote once in one thing. You're not really fulfilling your whole responsibility. Like, I'm under pressure right now to figure out in a hurry who I'm gonna vote for on April 1st. Because this is the judges. This is why I keep saying we need to pay attention to who the judges are. And my wife reminded me, like, yeah, well, you ready for April 1st? And I was like, no. Well, I was like the mayor, like, you bullshit. But I got to figure out, and I got to vote. Because if I'm going to be involved, I got to vote for this, and I got to vote the midterms. It's very important that we circle the wagons. I don't think no man should be allowed to exist unopposed. No man should have the final say on any and everything. And I think Trump is putting himself in a position to be that individual in this country. You know what I'm saying? It's for me, I just feel like there should always be checks and balances because we know people, for the most part, are inherently corrupt. The average person, if given unlimited resources, is going to do something wrong, Kamar. You say absolute power corrupts. You could be a good person. And I've heard good people get caught up in situations where they say, you know what? It just all just became too much. It just became overwhelming. Like, and so they end up doing something. And it's like, okay, now we done caught your ass. You got to go to jail. That's why I think everything has to be ruled by committee. I don't believe in the single leader theory. I don't think we should entrust any and everything to one person. And there's not too many examples of a time that we did that and it worked. I don't remember a leader where we gave all this, okay, it's all on you. And everything was right in the end. Human nature will soon kick in. And he done something. He done hid something. He knew where some bodies, he knows where the bodies are buried. So, that's one of my things. Somebody asked me, well, why don't you like Trump? Is it just the whole race thing? I was like, nah, I just don't like his approach. I don't like the mentality that he brings or that he represents. It makes white people poke their chests out. I mean, we got to start to admit that. I think the same way a lot of black people did when Obama was in office. There's a lot of people walking around with their chest poked out. My president is black. My Lambo is blue. Black people was feeling themselves when Obama was president. Then they realized, wait, nothing? Nothing, president? Nothing?
Nothing.
Chest deflated a little bit, like, oh, shit. He said, I'm everybody's president. But white people got their chest poked out. And Trump is serving. He's giving them what they wanted.
He is not disappointing.
Right. Well, but what
he is not disappointing.
They're gonna go through that same deflated state, Kamar, when a lot of them realize that a lot of these programs that he's stripping is going to affect them when it comes to like Medicaid and welfare and all these social.
Yeah, if it don't affect them, it's gonna affect a lot of their family members.
Yeah,
and that's gonna make it affect them.
And them chests will go down a little bit then, like, oh shit, they talking already about the farmers. The farmers like, what the fuck?
And it's actually already happening. You already see a lot of people online making videos, Trump supporters, about how they upset. Like, they upset that they voted this way. They already meeting. They already fucking around and finding out.
Yeah.
Or they done fucked around and found out.
Yeah, when you woke up and you couldn't get your meds, or you couldn't drop your kids off at daycare, or the business in your town that has kept that town afloat, or in your city, or where you've been working at for 25 years or whatever, when it's gone because they can no longer afford to operate because of his economic policies, then you say, wait a minute, you do like the mayor. You bullshit. You bullshit. I just, the best way to say it, Kamar, is what you said and what Jesse said. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out.
You know, that's a whole thing going. That's a whole thing that they got going on the internet, man. At FIFO.
Okay.
I made a video about that a while back, a few weeks ago. Fuck around and find out.
I'm gonna have to find it and play it on the show.
It's gonna come to you.
I'm gonna have to find it and put it on the show. Yeah. Play it on the show. Shabaka said Obama was a joke. Hate to say, he was more concerned about a man shoving ketchup up his ass, saying he's a woman. That is an insult to womanhood. I thought that was under Biden, though. I thought that whole thing with the trans dudes with the ketchup and I heard more egregious stuff said from that community towards, like, when the one trans people was saying, well, biological women don't have the they're not the authorities on womanhood or femininity. I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? But I don't, there are some people who speak highly of some of the things that Obama did. It takes a it almost takes a research show where you got to go and really pull a lot of specific things up to say he did this, he did that. And I feel like if a great leader, you don't have to do that. You can pull it. Now, universal health care.
Right.
Some people are like weren't happy with the way it, the website was crashing, and even to this day, people say I can't afford it. But I think it's better to have something than not have it. So, but anytime I hear a black man say there'll be no black agenda, that's the one thing Obama left me with. When a black man tells you there will be no black agenda, he means it, and there won't be. So you can just curb your enthusiasm. You can just kind of put a halt to all your little optimism. Ain't shit happening for you. It's not popping. And so, but like I said, Trump is delivering on a surface level for a lot of white people because he's making them feel good. But a lot of them are going to wake up and be swept away with a lot of his policies and say, holy shit, I fucked myself. I don't know. We talked last week about, and I'm going to get out of here pretty soon, but we talked last week about Big U in Los Angeles getting caught up, Kamar. But then we found out after that the rapper, and this is only if you really know rap, Yella Beezy in Dallas was arrested and charged with the murder of Mo 3. People saying, who is Mo 3? Okay. Mo 3 was a young rapper who was coming up. Pretty talented brother, actually, if you listen to his music. When it comes to a brother who can sing and rap and like harmonize, he has a song called Outside, Come Outside or something like that, which I loved. It was dope. And I said, this young dude is nice. Well, he was murdered. But this has been one of those things where if you live in the Podverse over the years, you've heard there's all kinds of different characters involved. There was always suspicion that this youngster, Yella Beezy, had something to do with it. I think he may have been shot. It's been like a back and forth thing. It's been a back and forth thing. And people are saying now that Yo Gotti will eventually be arrested for the murder of young Dolph. You got the whole Big U rolling 60s thing going on in California, and the characters with Whack 100 and all this kind of stuff. But I seen they've come together they came together and call it the Kings of Hip Hop panel, and it had Whack 100, Vlad, and Adam 22 from No Jumper, and I'm like, whoa. We debated whether or not we felt like Vlad was a culture vulture. I've talked about Adam 22, but then Whack 100 is with these dudes, and I'm just like, wow. But this whole narrative about who's a rat and who's a snitch, but this brother has everybody's paperwork. He gets on all the time and says what you did on YouTube, but he calls people rats. And I'm like, how is this popping? How is this what's going on? Like, how is this what's moving the needle on our culture? Right now, there's now new accusations made in the damn near 30-year-old murder of Tupac Shakur. Reggie Wright had something to do with it. Keefe D was charged for it. And I said all that to say, like, there's this prevailing energy of love for dysfunction in our culture. And I think it's very counterproductive. I think the gang shit, I've told this, I've said this many times. I watch these platforms and what gang you in? I'm this, that, and the third. How did it start? It started here by this person and that person. And what was your beef with it? And yeah, he did this and he did that. And then you watch people after they go on these platforms get locked the fuck up. And I'm like, when are we going to come up? It's always going to be an element of that there. But when will this stop being the top tier things that we focus on culturally? Like, can we get back to productive, progressive creativity? Like, I feel like because I like to listen to a lot of 70s music and a lot of 80s music. And I feel like they had some real musicians. Like Roy Ayers just passed away. Roy Ayers and Tume, the Gap Band, Roger Troutman, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Ohio Players. The list goes on and on and on. Stevie Wonder, all these people who were real musicians, and Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson, Prince, these musical phenomenal people who are just prodigies. And we rewarded them. We bought their records. We were down with the culture. We went to their shows. We watched their movies. But now you got dudes who can't even play an instrument. They have a computer and they have a processor. I have a MPK MIDI controller type keyboard here. I can't use it because I just haven't sat down and but I could make my own beats electronically here and just put them out. And I'm not a musician at all. And that's the part of the culture that because nobody want to hear I love the lead guitar. I love the piano. I love drums. I love horns. I like to hear that. Kids now be like, what the fuck is this? So that means they're not learning. Go ahead.
I think our community just done got a lot more toxic. You know what I'm saying? So like to ask, how do we get off of that stuff? You got to ask, how do we get our people from being so toxic? You know what I mean? Because it's the toxic parts of us that want to see that shit.
And I think that's what
you know what I mean. It's the fucked up parts of it. It's the dark parts of us that want to see that shit. So you know what I mean. I feel like we got to figure out how to fix us. You know what I mean? Because like even me, I be watching the shit out of that shit, and that's what's fueling it to keep going.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? People like me watching it.
And I think that's what
then,
Albert
we always want to see. What's that?
When he said that we can't get solidarity because you're taught to like basically be ready to attack the person right next door to you. You use the word toxic. So I was agreeing that I feel like that is the toxicity that we're talking about. Like, yes, there's how do we become less toxic in our own communities? That's a great question.
Yeah. Because you look at hip hop back then, you know what I mean? We wasn't on the same shit we was on back when hip hop was being created. You know what I mean? It's a lot worse out here, man. Everything is the guns is a lot more accessible. You know what I'm saying? The whole tough mentality done developed and shit. And you know what I mean? The gang done developed. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's just cool to be a gang, and niggas ain't even really gangs. They just cliques. And it's a toxic culture right now.
Yeah, and that was my point with
people gotta heal.
With the whole gun thing that was my point is that we have this issue in our community where it is very toxic and it is very counterproductive, but then you increase the availability of these guns. Somehow they are more easily accessed than they've ever been, which would lead me to believe that the gun laws. So the people who make them, it leads me to believe the people who manufacture them, there needs to be some regulation there. I didn't say anything specific. It would be versus what's already on the books. But somewhere.
Right. It's got to be some regulation somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere. Like I said, like we talk about how in Chicago, they was dumping crates of guns off and shit in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I was watching a video where Loose Cannon was talking about Big U had a crate of guns that he was passing out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you say, it needs somewhere down the line, it need to be some regulation, whether it's coming from the military dropping them off on people somewhere. It's got to be some regulation there somehow. Wherever, it's got to be some regulation. However, wherever.
When this dude is saying, a white dude is saying, the gun laws are working. What fucking planet do you live on?
If they was working, everybody wouldn't have them.
Well, you take cats who got really serious issues shooting up elementary schools.
Right.
You shouldn't even have access to it.
If the laws was effective, everybody wouldn't have them. Bottom line,
legal or illegal.
If it was effective, everybody wouldn't have them illegally.
I just think once again, I think you can muddy the water. You can muddy the water. I'm sorry, you can muddy the water all you want. Not you, but any individual when it comes to our issues in the community. And when I did used to communicate with Mandela Barnes, he and I had a very constructive conversation one time. And he was explaining to me that from his position in Madison, he discovered how the way we talk about the problem with gun violence down here in Milwaukee didn't resonate to people in northern Wisconsin because they didn't have that same gun problem. That was a mostly rural environment where they rode around with their guns in their windows and they hunt and all this kind of stuff. It's a way of life. And he would say, so when you talk to them about gun violence and talk about, regulations and fight and, gun control, they turn a deaf ear to it because they're like, well, we don't have that problem. That's a you thing. So you get caught up in that regard. I have to stick to the script when somebody tries to do that and try to come on and start talking about liberals and stop and frisk and all. It shouldn't be no goddamn stop and frisk. Reasonable doubt. Because we know cops are going to get out there and lie. Why did you stop him in the first place? Right? It's Trayvon Martin. Right? It's all kinds of egregious behavior on the part of law enforcement in which they stop somebody for no reason, just because that person is a minority or a person of color. Sabaka said they plant guns happen in LA as well. Right. So to close us out tonight, man, I know there's a brother by the name of Malik Yoba. I don't know if y'all know who Malik Yoba is. He was on, for us old heads, he was on New York Undercover. He has been in, and that was an old 90s hip-hop cop show, hip-hop themed. And he was in some Tyler Perry movies. He's been in some movies. I believe he's in The Best Man. And for a minute, not The Best Man, but The Wood. But for a minute, he was in a lot of black movies when they were really producing black movies, how they used to. Now, Malik Yoba said some crazy stuff. He's an individual, I believe, who identified that he really likes transgender men, which, the movie actor. But he came out with a statement this weekend. He said, I no longer identify as a black man. From now on, I will only be referred to as non-white. And people were saying, well, could this be something that will catch on, or is this a good thing, or is this a bad thing? And I just kind of scratched my head and said, well, ain't this like more of what we talk about with the delineation movement? Isn't this about coming up with an identification for ourselves and saying this is us? Now, the problem happens when we have one that makes the most rational sense, which is talking about the foundational Black American movement. But then you have all these people who want to come in from, I'm non-white and I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. And it just goes to show you how quickly we become divided with different kind of things, man. And if somebody wants to refer to themselves as that, that's fine. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But I just think at some point we have got to be able to unite and agree on something. There has to be a point where we say, okay, because you can be a non-white within being FBA, because an FBA is a non-white person. You see, it's all semantics, Kamar. It's all the same thing, but sometimes people they want to be so enlightened and so above and so ahead of everybody else that you can't just say, all right, I'll ride with that for the sake of continuation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just
we in that conversation already and move on to the next one. God damn.
Right. There always
they
has
want
to
to
be
debate. They want to keep debating this shit.
There we go, man. I'm it is things like that, because even if you don't want to say, because I tell you what, a bigger umbrella, if you don't want to say FBA, you can just say delineation. You can just say, hey, man, I believe that Black people need to be delineated, or if you are brown people or Negroes or whoever you are. Because as a matter of fact, if you are a native African and you say, hey, man, I am Nigerian, you are delineating. You see what I'm saying? The problem only comes because it's, once again, these descendants of these slaves trying to figure it out. These subjugated, oppressed, distressed, displaced people, once again, trying to come up with something. Let's scatter the board. Let's shuffle the dominoes so these motherfuckers can't get it together. Because I don't think people really understand what would actually happen if we had a little solidarity. If we really got on a economic kind of development platform for us. If we really said, let's make sure our children learn the things that they need to learn, and we're going to take control of the curriculum, and we're going to teach them ourselves. Ain't complaining because they can't teach black history in this school or that school. Let's teach our own kids. And we just was unified on principles of it. Just to say what's important: community, economics, education, culture. And once you get online with all those different concepts, then you can say, all right, now let's talk about spirituality and religion. But you got to do that last. Because if you start with that, we're never leaving the station. The train will never pull off. We already see how that goes. Let's see. Shabaka says we are in a state of emergency. He said we have time. We have no time to worry about other groups. The day of the Yassa boss is over. He says that's what the Black Panthers tried to do. They did. But they were infiltrated. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm always like talking when people bring up Kwanzaa. I tell them now, Kamar, I don't do what I used to do and just automatically rain on their parade because they love Kwanzaa. All I ever tell them is, do you know who Malcolm Karanga is? Sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. I say, go read up on him and then tell me about it. Because the US movement was counter to the Black Panthers and utilized by the United States government to basically destroy the Black Panther movement. Some of the earliest violence was between us and the Black Panthers with Bunchy Carter and the other young brother who was murdered in LA. And there's admission on the part of some US operatives that said, no, we were working with some COINTELPRO agents. So I'm saying, as soon as we start something and then, when I ain't with that, I got to start my own. We're splintered. Divide and conquer. Ever heard of that? So that's kind of like my response to Malik Yoba saying I'm non-white. I don't identify as a black man. I'm non-white. Am I tripping, or is this kind of like you're just watering it down? Like I feel like there was no need for him to say, like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But I just feel like this is dumb. It's like, I don't know. Did you hear about this?
No, it wasn't no need for him to say that. That just, yeah, I did. It wasn't no need for him to say that, man. That just, you know what I mean? It's just a little more divisive.
Yeah. Sometimes we overcomplicate things. So sometimes we overcomplicate things that don't have to be that complicated, man. You know what I'm saying? Can we leave some things simple so people can understand it and say, oh, I get it? Because now when somebody sits down and say, okay, you said something about foundational Black American, but I just heard non-white. I just heard somebody say that they was a new Republican Negro or whatever these groups and these splinter groups come up to be. I just look for unity. I'm optimistic that first of all, I'm optimistic that in spite of Trump and all the things he's doing, we're going to be all right. That's why I don't trip on no racist white dude. We're going to be all right. We ain't tripping off y'all. But they need to know that. These racist white people need to know we ain't tripping on y'all. We don't care. You can make all the racist, remarks you want. It's not going to stop what we need, us understanding what we need to do. Shabaka, I knew Shabaka would chime in. He said Ron Karanga was run out of the Bay Area by Newton. Yeah, well, did they end up in LA? And this is how the whole clash between them happens on the UCA LA campus. Once again, from all accounts, the brother Bunchy Carter was a pretty dynamic brother who would probably evolved into a powerful leader in the community, but he was snuffed out, via this violence. Look, I'm gonna get out of here, man. We'll talk some more. Because I really want to talk about the dad who took his son to prom. Did you see this video, Kamar? Put it in the People's News Network of the father who, I guess his son is gay or whatever, and he it was
cringeworthy. That took a lot. That took a lot.
It did. It did, and shout out to that brother, man. He is a brave man. He is a man, and he obviously loves his son, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know that I'd been able to do that, Kamar.
It don't hurt his character now.
No, it doesn't mean he's gay or anything. I mean, he obviously was. It was a show of, hey, son.
I don't think it hurt his character.
No, for me, it would just be, I feel like I'm supporting something that I don't want to support. Like, I don't want my son to be gay. Now, people say, but that's your son. If he's gay, he's gay. You can't do anything about it. But I would feel like, well, for me to go to prom with you, though, would be like, and I'm even questioning myself, because I don't have to go to,
I don't have to go to the prom with you to show you I love you.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Bottom line.
That is where I'm going. Like, I can tell my son behind closed doors, hey man, if this is the lifestyle you choose,
prom outfit. I paid for your prom outfit. I don't have.
Well, I can tell him, listen, if this is the lifestyle you choose and this is who you are, I gotta accept it. You still my son. I love you. That doesn't mean, like you said, that we need to get outfits and go to the prom together. I just looked at this and said, whoa. And I was looking at some of the comments and I just said, man, this would be a hard one.
You want to go that route. You need to find you a date.
There's that.
You hear me? Or you need to find you a date too.
Or go solo. Or
if you want to go that route, you need to find a date.
Or go stag. I'll pay for the car. Right. It's a testament to where we are right now in society. And it's also kind of like when you look at the challenges you do actually face as a dad. And that's why I'm not on this brother trying to diss him or nothing like that. I'm just saying that would have been very hard. It probably wasn't even hard for him, and I don't know that brother to say he's not already gay friendly, or like he might be just in tune with it. I'm not, and I do believe in traditional masculinity. So I don't know if my son would be like, well, Dad, take me to the prom. Now, if he said, Dad, take me to the prom, I say, I will take you to the prom, but you got to wear a suit like a young man. I can't take you to the prom and you got a dress on. Okay, you have a prom dress on. I can't do that.
He was looking all vampire-ish.
It was crazy.
He looked like a vampire.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Come on, it was crazy.
Neck. No diddy.
And I didn't want to say, I wanted to make a comment, but I didn't, because I don't want to get into no long Facebook. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'd like to sit back and watch other people go at it on Facebook sometimes. Like, I'm not going to say nothing, because I kept asking, I immediately internalized it and kept saying, where would I be at if Lil Kev came in and said, Pop, I'd be like, yo, Kev, come on now. Like, I can't, I'll drop you off. I'll pick you up. I'd probably, buy the fit, but I'm not going with you. I just wouldn't. But you never know. You can't say what you would or wouldn't do until it's your child. So I wouldn't know what I don't know what kind of issues that kid has had.
All we can do is talk shit. All we can do is have fun with the situation.
That's all we can do. That's all, and it's all pure speculation, as they say. It's all speculation.
That's all.
But I can't tell you this though. Before we go, I am happy that I didn't have to deal with that. My son went to his prom with a young lady. Very happy that I wasn't forced to walk that line. You know what I'm saying? I was like, him growing up, that was one of my things, is they say you keep your daughter off the pole, and I just want to keep him out the pumps. And so that I was happy that I didn't have to deal with that, man. We'll be back Wednesday, man. You got anything popping between now and Wednesday, or is it just House of Vitality as usual?
House of Vitality. Come on down to the House of Vitality. Let's keep the immune system strong, y'all. Don't let the weather fool ya. Oh, no.
Well, I'll be back, man. We'll be back Wednesday. In the meantime and in between time, man, if you can do anything, if you can be anything Be the type of person who cares, man. Try to do your best to do your best, man. Be the change you want to see. And do not allow your criticism of the community to outweigh your contribution to it. Because if that's the case, you are counterproductive and you're also a coon. I see y'all when I see y'all, man. Shout out to Dion. Shout out to Ewok. Shout out to Ace. Shout out to Albert Bell. Shout out to Tiarsha Arthur. Shout out to Juice Lady. Everybody who participated in the show, man. I see y'all Wednesday.
Peace.
Peace.